For most schools, AT&T Stadium in Arlington represents the end of the road, but it's a beginning of sorts for two brand new participants in their first ever state championship game. The Grandview Zebras and the Malakoff Tigers will meet for a 3A Division I state football championship in Arlington. One of these schools will claim its first ever state football title. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to AT&T Stadium in Arlington. I'm Craig Way. Do you know where you were 4 months ago tonight? Well, I can tell you where these two schools were. They were playing each other. A rare rematch of a non-district game, Malakoff against Grandview. Grandview won that night in Grandview in southern Johnson County, 28-7, but a lot of changes have happened for these two football teams since then. Nevertheless, they are first-timers. Malakoff beating Brock, a perennial power in the state semifinal. Grandview knocking off Rockdale, the defending state champions in 3A Division I in the bi-district round of the playoffs, and they've both been on a major roll since then. Pleased to be joined here for tonight's call by Gary Reasons, who played this sport at its highest level in this state, college, and in the NFL. It's always a special feeling to be here and to play for a state title.
It is, and for these two programs, they haven't won a state championship. One of them is going to be crowned a championship, as you talked about, Craig. And we've got a couple of explosive offenses and a couple of great quarterbacks, a couple of young guys, a couple of sophomore quarterbacks, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun tonight because both of these players, Dane Yates for Grandview is an explosive quarterback. He's just a sophomore. Hey, this guy is a coach's son, so he's a smart, analytical player. He actually has got a very good arm. He is completing 79% of his passes. It's amazing, and I think he's going to have a fun night tonight in front of these bright lights, and I don't think the lights are going to be too bright for him. On the other side, we look at Darion Peace, who's their sophomore quarterback as well. He has been very steady. He's battle-tested because this program from Malakoff has gone through some really tough times and some tough opponents, but I think this should be a great showdown tonight, Craig. Usually
you have at least one team that's been here before, maybe even one. Neither of these schools have ever been here. One of them is going to get one of those trophies tonight. Kickoff, Grandview and Malakoff. Coming up next. The Malakoff Tigers making their first ever appearance, rolling in from astride Cedar Creek Lake in the eastern part of the state. And the Grandview Zebras just down 35W in southern Johnson County as they get ready for tonight's contest. Speaking of Grandview, they're coached by Brad Davis, and the head coach is down there with our CT's tackle. CT?
All right, Craig, thanks so much, Coach. This is the biggest stage of them all. How do you expect your players to play with poise tonight?
Well, we've certainly addressed that. It's a huge stage, and we got here early to kind of get acclimated to it and let the kids, see the environment and experience it and that sort of thing. But right now, it's time to play football, and we're ready.
Coach, we're glad to be here. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now let's send it over to my friend Sarah Merrifield on the Malakoff sideline. Sarah?
Thanks so much, CT. Coach, a rare situation where you're seeing this team for the second time in the same season. How do you go about preparing for that, and do you all play with a little chip on your shoulder?
Well, to be honest with you, it's been a long time ago. It was 3 months ago. I think our kids have a little chip on their shoulder, but both teams are so different now. Both teams have gotten a lot better, and we got to see what we're about right now.
Thank you so much. Best of luck in the game. Craig, we'll send it back up to you.
All right, thanks very much, Sarah. It was indeed 3 months ago tonight, to the day, that Malakoff and Grandview played back then. So a lot of football's been played since then, Gary.
It is kind of strange just to be playing high school football against an opponent that you have played previously, and that's kind of atypical. You go up to the collegiate level and in the NFL level, you do that. It's a common thing that you actually do, but here in high school football, that is very unique. Be a good rematch tonight.
Well, it happens on occasion, and it happened quite a bit this year in the earlier rounds of the playoffs when two teams from the same district make it. It's almost unheard of at the state championship level because you can only have met in non-district play, and it's rare for teams normally from disparate parts of the state to get together in non-district and then, of course, meet up again in the state championship round. But Brad Davis has his Grandview Zebras ready. Impressive run through the playoffs. Same thing with Jamie Driscoll's Malakoff Tigers, who've had some great runs, and he said he was tired of losing to an eventual state finalist each of the past 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's a tough thing because you're always up against those quality opponents. You know who they are. There have been, kind of the same programs have risen to the top in the 3A level, and that's kind of been consistent. So you have to go through those blocks that are holding you back from getting there, and both these teams have broken through.
Andreas Garrett back deep to receive it. Landon Sale to kick it off for Grandview. And in case you were wondering, not only is this the first time a team named Zebras has made the state championship, Grandview has the only Zebra mascot in the state of Texas. We're underway, and this kickoff is going to sail out of bounds. So a good start for Malakoff, and not what Grandview wanted on that opening kickoff. So Malakoff will get good field position to start it off with the kickoff going out of bounds, and the Tigers will operate from their own 30-yard line. We talked about Darian Peace, the sophomore, who's thrown for nearly 2,000 yards and run for over 600 this season. So he's really kind of been the trigger man, but with everything that their injured backfield has gone through, they've always been able to find a guy, and it's mainly been Keevy Rose. We'll tell you more about him coming up. But first play from scrimmage for the Tigers, and movement before they can get going. Left side of the line, Kyler Dalrymple locking up with Demetrius Crownover.
Before the snap, false start, number 74 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, are those the jitters, Craig?
Maybe just a little.
But, you know, he's lining up across with somebody who's 6'7", so that might be a little surprise there to see as well.
So it becomes first down and 15. And right away, trouble for Peace trying to get going, and Antonio Arellano was on to get him. Take a look at our forward impact players for tonight's contest. And Keevy Rose, you see him right there, the junior running back. Big ball carrier, started off the year actually third on the depth chart.
Yeah, kind of a linebacker, you know, previously. Now he's been having to work, carry the load here for this running game, and over 1,300 yards. He's done a nice job, and that linebacker, he's going to be all around the field in front of the football.
To the air to Rose. That one's out to Garrett from Peace, and Patterson wraps him up after the gain, short gain there, and picks up 4 yards.
You know, both these teams, Craig, I think are similar in their offensive approach. They're spread offenses. They like to move around. They have multiple formations. You know, they don't have to go very, very fast. You see here, they're not going, you know, very up-tempo. They have that ability to do so. And then the defenses are kind of reacting. So early in this ball game, it's kind of the chess match that these coaches are looking for. How is the defense going to deploy, and how are they going to defend us tonight?
And third and long on the opening series. To the air. He's unable to connect with Garrett as he went outside, and it winds up being 3 and out for Malakoff, and the false start penalty really kind of put him behind the chains to begin with.
Yeah, that definitely hurts. You're not coming out a little bit unsettled perhaps, but a chance to go out there and get the jitters and get them out of the way. Now you got to do a good job in punt return game, get your offense out there with the Zebras for Grandview, and Malakoff, they're going to try to get a stop defensively.
Gerardo Garcia to punt. Try to work it away from Dane Yinch, and does, with a fair catch called for and made by Austin Boyd off of a 28-yard punt. But this is going to be good field position for the Zebras to start with their sophomore quarterback, Dane Yinch. You spoke of him, Gary, how talented he is and the different weapons he possesses.
Yeah, he really is. He's a guy, he's got good skills, he's got good size. I think he's got a good command of this offense. Just a sophomore, you know, I talked about in the opening about being a coach's son. That means he's been around the sport in the field house his entire life, and that's what it's like to be a quarterback here as a coach's son.
First play is out of an empty set, spread and quickly out to Austin Boyd. That's his 51st catch of the season. It works for 4 yards. Parker Bush over to make the tackle for Malakoff.
A good job that time throwing the ball out there. Good, comfortable play that time to get the offense settled, and Zebras I think they're in pretty good shape here.
Will operate with a 5-receiver set. Whoa. And that pass too much on it. It was intended for Casey Black, senior slot receiver, who's shifted out wide, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, they've got a number of receivers that have put up good production for them this year, Casey Black being one of those, and they've got a good job. They've done a good job of moving the ball effectively, and it's a quarterback decision. It's completely empty backfield here. They've got 4 or 5 wides. They're trying to spread out this Malakoff defense.
3rd down and 6. Grandview spreads it out again with 5 receivers. Over the middle, and that's intercepted. Picked off by Everardo Garcia, the weak side linebacker, cut off right in front of his opposite number 12, Casey Black, in the first break of the game. An interception going the way of Malakoff.
Well, that's doing your job as a linebacker. Watch number 12 there. Just go out to his zone coverage and go step right underneath that ball. He had the outside flat. He saw the receiver coming inside. He worked his way back under it. Well done by the outside linebacker, and a good turnover there. So good positive play defensively for Malakoff to get that ball right back.
At the Tiger 44-yard line. So second possession already for the Tigers, and we've played under 2 minutes of action so far. Malakoff was,
It's going to be a possession, and they're going to take a look at it here.
The ruling on the field was an interception. Previous play is under further review.
Darren Lair, the referee of this East Texas chapter that's adjudicating it tonight, and they'll be on the headset with the replay officials to talk about it. Here's another look at it, Gary.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this here. Does he make the catch? Does he make a clean catch? Does he have control of it? He's got the ball. Looks like it's firm right there. And does the ground cause it to move? I'm not sure I see anything just yet. Wow, he doesn't complete the catch through. He definitely lets go of the ball. But does he make enough of a football move while he had it in possession? That's kind of a bang-bang play, and he went down pretty quickly. So this might be overturned.
Well, while they sort all that out, we'll go over to the Malakoff sideline to Sarah Merrifield.
Official for high school, and he mentioned to me that the positive reaction to the replay has been great across the board. Teams like it, the officials like it, and it's pretty simple and easy to use. All they do is they put the headset on, they watch the camera, and they get the call from the booth upstairs. So no training is required, but again, positive reaction to it. At the end of the day, they all want to get the play right, so that's what matters. And we are in the state of Texas where high school football definitely deserves a little bit of a replay credit, guys.
Oh, it matters. There's no doubt about it. It matters. And let me say this, too. Here's another look at it. And
watch to see if he makes a football move here. Does he have the ball? Does he make a football move one step? He's got a knee down. Does he have complete control of it? I think he catches the ball before he goes to the ground. I mean, this is a judgment call here by the replay official. So does he have complete control of the ball while he's upright and then he goes to the ground? He's down already with his elbow on his knee, so there's probably going to call this down before the ball moved.
It doesn't appear to have enough to overturn the call on the field, which was the interception. What I started to say was, having seen this already in play, having worked the two telecasts, calling the six-man, the 1A state championship games yesterday, and then, of course, our 2A Division II game last night, it was all good.
Yeah,
I mean, it was all good. I think it's very positive.
It is definitely positive because you're on a big stage here, and in these games, it means so much to these players, these coaches, the communities. You want to get things right. And I think the UIL's done a great job of deciding to put this in for this round of games. And let's face it, we're here as broadcasters, and everyone at home who's enjoying this telecast is like on a 50 or 60-inch television screen. You can actually see those changes that go on in the game. And if we didn't have the ability to review them, you're used to seeing at the collegiate level, you're used to seeing it at the NFL level, and this is what it's all about. You're able to review a certain plays, scoring plays, passes, and kicks, and a few other things. But overall, it kind of mirrors the NCAA college football instant replay rules with a couple of exceptions, but overall, that's generally what it is.
Yeah, I will say this. This has been the longest replay review we've seen so far, but this is also the most difficult, I think, to get an absolute definite decision on.
It all depends on whether or not they're going to determine he had control of it, and then as he's going to the ground, he's down, and then after he was down, the ball came loose. I think that's probably end up is going to be that call which would make the interception stand.
They're still discussing it right now with Darren Lair, the referee of this East Texas-based officiating crew.
Plus, it's a linebacker. I got to pick up, stand up for my linebacker guys, right?
You're no linebacker at heart. You're gonna have his back, right?
Anytime a linebacker gets his hands on a football, it's a good thing.
Jamie Driscoll, 2 wins away from 100 career coaching victories. His 10th season overall. Malakoff, when he took over the program, they'd had a long losing streak. They won the district title the first year, and he said, we've come close. We've had some good things. Looks like this call is going to be overturned.
Exactly, yeah. The Grandview guys are saying, yeah, this is going to be incomplete. They're hearing it before we are, so we'll take a listen here to the official and get the lowdown.
After further review, the receiver did not maintain control of the ball all the way to the ground. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. It'll be 4th down and 6 for Grandview. The clock will start on the snap.
Well, that's a break for Grandview in that respect. Now,
yes.
What does Brad Davis want to do here? Does he want to say we're playing with house money and go ahead and go for it on 4th and 6 here? Apparently
and that's
so.
Exactly what's going to happen here because got an experienced quarterback now. This young guy's pretty interesting because he might be able to pooch punt something. You never know here in this formation.
He is the team's punter, so yep, and that's exactly what it's going to be. And a fair catch call for him made at the 21-yard line. So when all is said and done,
the game 20 yards.
Yeah, a 30-yard punt. Nathan Jones made the fair catch, and Malakoff gets the ball anyway. But like you said, Little field position swap there as Grandview surrenders possession. So it's at the 22-yard line. Darian Peace, the sophomore quarterback, as we mentioned, it a threat either to run or pass. That's what he's been able to do on the ground and through the air.
Yeah, well, we talked to Coach Driscoll about him. He felt really solid that he did a great job for quarterback, and his competitiveness was on display all season. He really liked that as we take a look at Kiwi Rose getting a good handoff there off the right guard. But this offense has really been led by this young man, Darian Peace, the sophomore quarterback, and you know, being able to be successful, run this offense at a pace that you have to, and make the right decisions in the zone read game at a young age. That's impressive.
2nd down and 3 after a 7-yard pickup for Kiwi Rose. Darian Peace back to the ground. This time, Zebras are ready, and going down was R.J. Carr. Lost the yard. Carr was one of the 2 Malakoff running backs, along with Dedrick Davis, who were injured, and that opened the door for Kiwi Rose, who had been number 3 on the depth chart, and all he's done, Rose, since then, is rushed for over 1,300 yards. But R.J. Carr, a junior who has done an outstanding job before the injury, and he's come back.
Yeah, injured in the 2nd game, hasn't been back, but back playing now, and they expect to utilize both of them in this ballgame.
3rd down. Back to Carr. And he's not going to get there. Grandview, which has had stout defense throughout the playoffs.
Good job that time by 67, Jake Bonds, the defensive end on the tackle on that far side. And he just took his offensive lineman and pushed him back into the backfield, which didn't allow the running back to move anywhere. So you see here, watch on number 74, right in front of him is who I'm talking about. Jake Bonds, 67, does a nice job.
Be another punt to come for Garcia. This one a much better effort. In fact, Yates has to signal for a fair catch and makes that catch at the 37-yard line. It's a 34-yard punt. So, a little bit of thrust and carry so far, but no action so far in the chase for a 3A Division I state championship. Scoreless, just under 4 minutes gone by here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Time for a look at our Ford Impact players with Grandview on the offensive side and the Tigers on defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You look at this running back here, Elijah Gold, over 1,200 yards rushing. There's going to be some collisions, I think, between him and Caleb Adams, who's a senior defensive end, kind of a linebacker as well. He'll move back there. He's all around the football, one of their best defensive players. Should be fun to watch those two go tonight.
And sure enough, it goes right to Elijah Golden, and ready for it, absolutely ready for it, was Garcia, and the Malakoff defense, no gain on the play.
Yeah, the front side there was all done well by the defensive line, pushed that back and forces Golden to take a different path, but right into Garcia.
2nd down and 10. Yates to go to the air. Over the middle and just beyond the reach of Cooper Deans. Deans does have excellent hands, made an absolutely spectacular touchdown grab in the state semifinal win last Friday night over Yoakum.
Yeah, there's not much pressure here. Good job by the offensive line, only rushing 3, maybe 3.5 if you kind of look at everybody who's kind of putting the effort in there. So got to get that ball down a little bit. And we talked about his completion percentage, correct, 79% for Yates on the season. I just found that to be amazing.
3rd and 10 for Grandview. Yates will set up the receiver screen, but it is snuffed out quickly as it went to KC Black. No gain on the play. Black jerseys everywhere. The man you mentioned, Caleb Adams, right in the middle of it.
Yeah, Caleb Adams from his linebacker spot kind of slides out there and does a nice job of getting in the mix. And you know, this offense, they're trying to do shorter passes to the outside and get something going. Spread offensive concepts, nothing that people aren't used to seeing in Texas high school football, where you're trying to get players out in space and use their athleticism. But good job by the defense to rally and make the play.
So the feeling out process continues on both sides, and Yates to punt again, trying to kick it away from Nathan Jones, but Jones fields it and has the corner. Grandview recovers, but still a nice return of 14 yards off a 32-yard punt. And the field position beginning to slide more and more the way of the Tigers.
Yeah, it is a little bit getting that way, and get themselves back out on offense to see if they can get some positive momentum. Talking about this offense, they've got to block the defensive front up there. They felt like that was one of the key things. Can't let that big defensive front. You take a look at the right defensive end. He's 6'7" now, 225 pounds. Big young man. I'm talking about Demetrius. They call him Meaty Crownover, and he's imposing out there. And when the quarterback trying to throw over him, it's kind of a daunting task.
Malakoff will give the appearance of an empty set. Quick receiver screen goes outside to Garrett. Andreas Garrett was sidelined with great speed, and the last man to get him was Yench, who prevented a touchdown, but it's a 33-yard catch and run by Andreas Garrett.
Well, he has an average, Craig, of 20 yards per reception this season, and this is a throw and a yards after catch, and that's a great job of blocking on the outside, and he gets down the sideline where he can make an explosive play. That 30 yards is a big result of good blocking out front and him doing a good job with the football with Garrett.
Down to the 22-yard line, Kyler Dalrymple, a big block as well.
And quarterback from the opposing team making the tackle, he plays that middle safety spot.
So Malakoff on the move. Designed run there for Peace. Darion able to turn the corner inside the 20 for a pickup of 4. It'll bring up second down and 6.
Yeah, that's just a loaded run there. You got a couple of running backs or receivers out in front, direct to the quarterback. It's run all the way. It's like a sweep. Good job on first down. Getting a few yards, brings up second here.
Check with me to the sideline as Peace looks over. The play call coming from the coaching staff.
So this is all man-to-man outside here and on top.
And it confused everybody enough that we had a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 68. It's a 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
It's senior right tackle Brendan McClintock, but you started to talk about how the man coverage.
Exactly. So, we talked to Brad Davis about his corners, and he said they've got to play well tonight. They're going to match them up, lock them down, and they're going to try to take those out of the game and play inside here and see how they can match up. And remember, these teams played previously. Malakoff losing to Grandview in that initial contest. And both of these coaches, we talked to them, does one of you have an edge because of that game? And neither one of them was going to buy into that methodology. They said, well, that's way too far ago. We know a little bit about each other, but this is a whole new ball game and a whole new team.
R.J. Carr back to the ground, and the junior running back who had been hurt early is back and picks up nearly 5 on the carry.
Offensively here from Malakoff, the offensive line, they want to put the dominance out there. They're going to try to see what they can do as far as controlling the line of scrimmage, allowing this quarterback, Darion Peace, to operate this offense unimpeded without pressure in his face when he does these zone reads, maybe some RPOs, and even this spread offensive attack.
On 3rd and 6, back to Carr. Outside, picked up one block, and then Carr able to get to the line of the game. Or no, just stepped out. Just a little shy of it. Austin Boyd made sure that he couldn't quite get to the mark. It's close, but it's 4th down.
Yeah, on the outside, everything was taken away inside. He does a nice job of bouncing that out, and Carr shows why coaches were happy to have him back in the lineup, because he's got, speed and bounce capability to be able to get to the edge in the corner, and made a good effort there. And brings up 4th and short.
They'll need almost 2 yards for this first down. And Tammy Driscoll wants a timeout. He wants to talk about this. It's 4th and about 1.5 yards or so needed for the first down for Malakoff. So they'll discuss that.
Well, we welcome you back. We're playing here at the 3A Division I state championship game between Grandview and Malakoff. And what Coach Driscoll explained, a very weird start to the season. This team has been through a lot of adversity off the field. In a span of 2 weeks, this team had a lot of things go wrong for them, but of course, this team is going up against Grandview, a team they've seen in the past. And what Coach explained earlier in the week, he said, yeah, of course, we have our mistakes. We want to play better offensively. Our defense carried us through that game and didn't really give the offense a break. So now we know how to go about doing it. And honestly, these guys are playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they can go back and do it again. But CT had a chance to talk to the coach on the other side of the field and has their input on facing this team for the second time in the same season. CT?
Well, Sarah, Brad Davis was point blank in his reaction to this rematch, saying it comes down to simply this. The team that usually loses in the first matchup, they have the psychological advantage because they've got a bad taste in their mouth. He said they specifically addressed it, guys, and they told this team, if you think you're just going to show up and win, you won't. Craig, that's what's on the line tonight.
Thanks, CT. Here we go. 4th and 1. This is what's on the line, and straight ahead, Kiwi Rose. It's going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the spot here. The line judge coming in here, when he stops his progress and he puts his foot down where that football goes, that's where it's going to be. And from our bird's eye view here, it looks like it may be just about a half of a football short here. You see the penetration there by Grandview defensively. I think it's a good spot. It looks like it's going to be about halfway between those two marks on the field and not be enough for the yard to gain. So going to be a stop on downs here for this Grandview defense.
In the game prior to this one, Newton, with that thrilling hold on to win and defend its 3A Division II state championship, they had a review of a measurement. No review needed in this case, and it goes over on downs to Grandview. So the Zebras hold and go back to work. Yinch, design run. Turn in the corner, and he can do this. Takes it upfield. He's rushed for over 1,200 yards this year and picks up 9 there on first down.
You know, I just think he's kind of, I'll call him a smooth operator. He seems like he's got everything under control out there, and he just seems like he knows where to go. It's instinctive to him, and he's a smart guy. He knows how to do things the right way and puts his team in a position to win as they pick up his first down here.
Yeah, Elijah Golden picks up nearly 5 yards on the carry before Nathan Jones can wrap him up.
You know, this is a team that's averaging 42 points a ball game, so a little bit off that number so far, but they're certainly capable of putting points on the board.
First down for Grandview. Golden remains the running back, and Yinch to throw deep. Looking for Jacob Patterson and cannot connect. It's going to be a tough grab, a tight coverage from Garrett as well on the edge.
Just think about if you're a young person coming into the stadium and playing and throwing those rainbow passes in this stadium and what those mean and what those look like. It's got to be awe-inspiring to these players to look up and see this Megatron and what it tracks your entire movement. These guys are used to playing on grass fields and stadiums that seat, you know, a couple of thousand people at best, you know, so coming in here where, boy, I think both communities have turned out, Craig, don't you, for supporting both Malakoff and Grandview?
You never, ever have to worry about North Central Texas and East Texas showing up for games. They are always there, and it's a big crowd here tonight on 2nd down and 10. Yinch, and that's picked off. Intercepted by Kadarius Thomas. Thomas, pick 6. Touchdown, Malakoff.
Well, he's their leader in the defensive back area. Kadarius Thomas playing cornerback here. Just gets up in the air, and Yinch does not get enough air under this to get it over to his receiver. Maybe he just doesn't see Thomas, who moved underneath that right in the line of fire. This is a pick 6 return for a score. Malakoff, this is a big defensive play here. Puts them on the board first in this ball game.
Thomas, a great read on it to take it back. Hector Romero for the conversion. So Malakoff takes advantage of the interception. Yinch had one overturned by replay. He wishes he could have this throw back.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, you just look at him. So the corner's just sitting in his spot back there. He knows he's got help behind him, so he's underneath that route, does a good job of going up and getting it. Kadarius then turns it around and moves it into the end zone for the score, and good pressure here on the quarterback. Perhaps he's throwing a little bit off timing. I don't really think so. He just probably did not see Kadarius Thomas there underneath that route.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great move by Thomas on that. Like you said, he probably did not see him coming through. He was looking for Cooper Deans outside, and Thomas suddenly appeared from nowhere. So Malakoff strikes first. And Gary, I asked you about this. We were talking about because you've been in so many games like this where it's a new thing for a team for a first time. Well, it's new for both of these teams, and you said it might just come down to, you know, who might be most prone to the mistakes early on.
Yeah, those kind of mistakes are the things that kind of unrail your momentum and your success. Unfortunately, it's kind of gone that way. Malakoff has kind of been in the front of that curve right now with obviously a pick 6 here for points. So just a little bit of a retooling here for Grandview. You know, you're going to go back out there on offense, just got to put points on the board. That's what Brad Davis is likely telling his football team.
Not like the Zebras haven't trailed this season. They have in games, lost their season opener to a quarterfinalist in 4A. Glenrose also lost to West this year. They have been tough customers even in games where they've trailed. Here's Yench on the return, trying to make up for the pick, but he'll be brought down at the 31-yard line. So back to work for Grandview again. Now down 7-0 here in the late stages of the first quarter.
And this Grandview community has grown up, and I used to live in Crowley, which is not too far from Grandview, so I know that area out there pretty well, and played my high school days with the Crowley Eagles, and well, these guys, we played them once or twice, but this is a unique opportunity for these guys being their first state championship game, and they've got some work to do.
Back to the ground to Golden. Elijah Golden, good low center of gravity, tough running for the junior tailback. Let's take a look at our forward leaderboard here, and you see what the Grandview receiving corps has done this season.
No doubt about it. They've got a plethora, a bunch of receivers that have a lot of production, and that's what Yench has been able to do, move that ball around, and you see Golden popping through there for some good positive yardage. That's what I talk about as far as being able to leverage, you know, what you see on the field as a quarterback and getting the ball out to the right places. It's a smart young man, and he's done that very well this season.
Yench will run it himself this time. A little bit of room, a stiff arm, and still on his feet. Look at Dane Yench driving forward. He's got another first down. Picked up 13 yards, and a lot of that after contact.
That's a lot of yak yards, no doubt about that. Yards after contact, and Yench showing that you know, he's got some running skills to go with that arm that he has, and just kind of spins out here. He puts that ball in the left hand, uses that right arm as a stiff arm, and just keeps that body and those legs pumping.
Back to the ground. Golden. Malakoff now starting to get the drift of Grandview's intent to keep it on the ground, and they wrap up Elijah Golden.
Yeah, one of the unique stories here about for this offense, though, is number 56, Jacoby Crownover, who's actually kind of moved in there to that left guard spot. That really helped them solidify their offensive line, but it really helped their defense a little bit better. We'll talk about that in a second.
Trying to connect again down the field with Cooper Deans. They have not been able to connect yet.
Well, with Crownover being able to get into that lineup, as I was talking about, it's kind of solidified the offensive line, but really put a focus on the defensive front, where Cade Fedor has been able to then move over there to play full-time on the defensive side. And they say he's almost unblockable. So that's what he likes. He likes the defensive side. It's a good thing to see Crownover here kind of grow up in this offense now, kind of moving.
Grandview's trying to convert its first third down of the ball game. Zebras 0 for 2 in that department here in the first quarter. On 3rd and 7 for the Zebras, as Golden is the motion man shifting, but before he can get going, it's going to be a motion call against Grandview, a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 54 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll remain 3rd down.
You know, when the center is part of a false start, normally it signals impatience, doesn't it?
There you go. Just take it. He might have moved that football just a little bit. Who knows?
Well, it turns 3rd and 7 to 3rd down and 12.
Well, Craig, I'm going to make a prediction here. I think a team with stripes is going to win this game. That's my attempt at subtle humor. Not good.
Okay, all right. I follow you.
Okay.
Pass there it is, over the middle, and this time he does connect with Cooper Deans, just enough for the first down. They needed 12, they got 13.
That's good. That's a good spot there. Good job of coming back for the football, making himself available to the quarterback, and Yates does a good job of throwing it out there. He knows where his receiver is going to be, and bingo, that's how you do it. Deans comes in and done that quite a few times. He's their leading receiver with touchdowns on the season, 11 of those with Yench.
He is Dane Yench's big play target. Back to the ground to Golden. And Elijah Gold, who also had a big game on the ground in the semifinal win over Yoakum, has another nice run and 11 more yards and a first down.
Yeah, I talked about that offense. You know, number 67, Jake Bonds, the right guard, is he and Bennett on that right side. They've done a nice job opening some holes, and we saw it there with Golden being able to benefit from that.
So far on this drive, Grandview's mainly doing it on the ground, other than the big 3rd down catch by Deans. Back to the ground again, this time ready for it and holding Golden at just 1 yard is the Malakoff defense.
Yeah, well, you've got man-to-man on the outside here for Malakoff. It's all man across the board. 4 receivers out there. So you've got a corner, a safety coming down on each of the inside slot receivers. And then you have the numbers. It's just 7 in the box. It's just a run decision that the quarterback can make, or a pass. They may give him an RPO.
We'll look over to the sideline for the play call. Still plenty of time to set it up as Golden shifts around Yates. And they set up the receiver screen. But snipped out very, very well by the Malakoff defense, and it's Dylan Stearman, the safety, and Andreas Garrett, the corner, team up on that, and the game only went for 3.
Yeah, for screens to the outside, these bubble screens, you have to have your wide receivers be able to block and lock up, and Malakoff did a nice job of getting off of contact and negating that play. 3rd down here.
Golden remains in the backfield. We've seen Grandview shift him out as a receiver and go empty, converting Elijah Golden to a 5th receiver. Not on this play. But Yates to throw nevertheless. And a nice catch made, stepping out of bounds with enough for the first down is Jacob Patterson. A gain of 9 more, and they've mixed the run and the pass very well on this drive.
Yeah, kind of a spot throw, almost a back shoulder throw that you'll see in the NFL. So this is good timing between this receiver and quarterback. Watch, he throws it before he breaks. He knows where he's going to be just past that first down marker. That's well executed by the Zebra offense.
1st and goal from the 6, and Yates fighting his way forward, and it's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of the first quarter. Gang tackling there by Malakoff. So we've hit the end of the first quarter of the UIL 3A Division I State Football Championship. The Malakoff Tigers leading the Grandview Zebras in a battle of first-timers here in the state final.
Dave Campbell's Texas Sports, where legends begin.
On day number 3 of the 4 days of state championships here in Arlington. Off play action, Cooper Deans with a catch from Dane Yates for the Grandview touchdown.
Well, good play call, good play design that time. Able to have Yates roll out to his right. He's going to have Dean come inside and work to the back corner of the end zone here. No one actually works with him, so it's an easy throw and catch there for the Zebras. And they answer to that pick 6 that Yates threw earlier, so have a chance to tie this ball game up as they do with the extra point.
And by the way, the kick good for Landon Sale. Cooper Deans, their leading touchdown pass catcher, has his 12th of the season. Gary, you think about this. In the first quarter, Malakoff did not have a first down, or was 0 for 3 in the 3rd down department, and Grandview outgained it by 30 yards, yet the turnover makes all the difference.
Yeah,
that's why it was 7-0.
Turnovers was the big key here, the big mistake, so to speak. Got Malakoff on the board first. Now their offense is going to get a chance to respond as well.
So Jamie Driscoll wanting his guys to get back to work and try to get something established offensively with Andreas Garrett back deep to receive it. Joined back there by Kadarius Thomas, who had the interception return for the touchdown. This is a significantly shorter kick, fielded at the 25-yard line. This is going to be good field position for Malakoff off of the return. A nice return back upfield for the Tigers, and so Malakoff will have possession of the ball.
You know, one of the things that Coach Malakoff actually preaches when he came into the program, he trying to get a mantra of working together. And so he's always talking to his players every week, together we can. That's kind of the mantra that they have, and they have to be 1-0 each week. So I think he's trying to break things down into very basic things and have the players buy into it, and I believe this season they have accomplished that, Craig.
From the 40, after the Dylan Stearman returning. Nice run outside as Darion Peace continues to weave through the defense. 21 yards and a first down for the Tigers.
Well read on here. He fakes inside, sees the crash right there. He's got a good lead block in front of him. He knows he can go inside out on that. And so he does a nice job getting that ball up the field, and Peace makes a nice gain.
We'll mark him down at the 40, so call it a 20-yard pickup there on the run. It's at the 40-yard line. So Malakoff coming right back. We just got through talking about Grandview needing a response. We saw it. Now Malakoff trying to answer it.
you know, every time that you go off to the sideline, you're able to talk with your coaches and make some little bitty tweaks. And I think both teams have kind of done that.
Yates looks to throw this time. Off play action. Right there, dragging across the middle and turning it into a big gain. The tight end, Parker Bush. Bush deep into Grandview territory and down to the Zebra 11-yard line for a gain of 29.
Waggle, bootleg, whatever you want to call it. This is a good job here of just kind of going against the aggressiveness of the defense. Fake it to the right, roll back, get it underneath. Now, this is actually run after the catch. You got a little block in the back there that's not called by the officials. I don't think it was too heinous, but I do think that it should have been called there. That should have been a penalty on that play after the catch in the first down.
Just inside the 12-yard line of Grandview. So Malakoff wasting no time in trying to strike right back. Yates with it. Will roll around, turning down inside the 5-yard line. R.J. Carr down to the 1, down by contact. Ball came out after Carr was taken to the turf.
I'm not sure many guys want to get in front of R.J. Carr. He looks like a car running out there. 230-pounder coming around that corner with power and speed. Excellent run that time. And when I can see he gets his shoulders squared up, he's a powerful man.
He was one of the lead guys before the injury. Now is back and healthy, said Jamie Driscoll. We saw it there, and now Keevy Rose joins him in the backfield. Actually, now Carr checks out, and Caleb Adams is in there, but this is Keevy Rose. Keevy in for the touchdown.
Well, that's that answer drive we talked about, Craig, and Malakoff makes a couple of tweaks there. They get their run game going, the pass there on the bootleg. Gave him some good positive play there as well. All things kind of working that well in that series, and Darion Peace executed all of this and got some help with his running mates. Get Keevy Rose in there, R.J. Carr, both running backs impressive on that drive.
Romero for the conversion, and that kick just did slip inside the upright. Well, Malakoff's already done more than what they did in that game 3 months ago tonight. They only scored 7 points that night. They have 14 thanks to Keevy Rose, and the Tigers have a 7-point lead.
Welcome back to the 3A Division I state championship game between Malakoff and Grandview. Malakoff leads 14-7 in the second quarter. Now, you might have noticed some extra color added to the Malakoff Tigers helmets, and each of those colors represent something very special to this team. I mentioned it's been a season of adversity for the Tigers, and within a span of 2 weeks early on in the season, 3 members of this team and community passed away. Caleb Adams' younger sister Karen lost her battle with cancer. A couple days later, Michael Voiles, one of the team's biggest fans, left one of their games in October and on his way home was in a fatal car accident. And then a few days later, Kenneth Hayes, the grandfather of senior Kyler Dalrymple, he passed away battling kidney cancer. The blue K is for Karen, her favorite color turquoise. The MV is for Michael Voiles, and the orange stripe is for Kenneth Hayes in honor of his battle with kidney cancer. It's a sad occurrence for this team, but they've been able to handle it with grace and, of course, make it back here in honor of those guys. Guys?
Thanks so much, Sarah. And we hear stories like this, some incredible stories at this event every year. There's a fair catch called for and made on that kickoff, so it'll be right at the 25-yard line for Grandview. We hear it in just about all levels.
Yeah, and that's just the community aspect of they're part of the program, part of the team. They're not that big a community, so they really are all one and the same. And glad that they're able to recognize those ones that have been lost, and it's touched their football program, and it's really been a rallying thing for this football team.
So from the 25, Grandview coming off a touchdown drive, but then allowing a touchdown drive from Malakoff, goes back to work. Dane Yench will keep it himself. Stepped away from one tackler, and then here he goes. Yench, an excellent first down carry of 19 yards to move the chains.
Yeah, that's what you want from your quarterback, being able to just find and pick a way through there. Zone read, he sees the defensive end going to get blocked out. He knows the scheme that's there. It's a quarterback design run inside, and well done that time by Yench and on that first down play, and then picks up some more yardage here with Golden.
They go quick tempo now as they accelerated the attack. Cole Gaddis made the tackle, but it was a first down carry of 3 yards. Now out to Cooper Deans. Picked up a block and a first down into Malakoff territory. Here come the Zebras again.
Yeah, the Zebras going up tempo here. Brad Davis, the head coach, deciding to pick this pace up a little bit. Now he's a highly experienced coach, comes from a big family of coaches. His brother coaches, his dad's a longtime coach, historic coach here in the state of Texas. So they've got coaching in their blood. They know how to make adjustments.
There goes Yates again on the keeper on first down. Gain of 3. After that, they'll take it down inside the 40-yard line.
Both these coaches, when we talked to them about the tackling aspect, they said these guys have to tackle in space, can't allow chunk plays, the big yardage after contact type plays. So it's imperative, especially when you're in a man-to-man coverage scheme, and we're seeing some of that from Grandview, and this is zone coverage here.
Yates over the middle, and he finds Jacob Patterson. A first down inside the 20. That's a lot of patience from a sophomore quarterback with the heat coming, and he connects with Patterson for 26.
Yeah, so as I'm describing defensive play, we're seeing zone coverage. You see the safeties, look what he's seeing back there. He knows if he has enough time that middle safety is going to be out there, and there's nobody there in the middle of that zone, and does a good job on the income.
Right back at it, Elijah Golden with a gain of 8 on first down. So Grandview marching right back down the field.
Well, this is a little pace here. This pace is kind of taking this Malakoff defense by surprise here. I think they've kind of got them on their heels. So the Zebras just marched the ball right down after that score.
Cooper Deans is the lone split receiver. And Golden will line up in the pistol behind Dane Yates. It's Golden to the goal line and short. He will have a first down. It'll be first and goal Grandview, as Elijah Golden was stopped short of the goal line, but moved the chains. First and goal now with the 1.
Yeah, very unusual formation, just a true unbalance. They've got 3 down linemen on the near side, and then they've also got lead blockers. It's just a big lead play that they ran. A bunch of Zebras in the hole, Craig.
First and goal Grandview. How about this after we had 3 consecutive change of possessions to open the ball game? The pick 6 by Kadarius Thomas apparently has opened the floodgates. All by himself, Yench in for the touchdown. Golden went to the line of scrimmage as an extra blocker. Dane Yench followed the blocks, and Grandview ready to tie the score yet again.
Speed football, power football, they've kind of run a little bit of everything here on this series. He comes on the right side. You see the lead blockers out in front of him. Good job of opening up a hole there, and he gets into the end zone before he's tackled. Big meaty crown over there, also getting a good block from the big tight end position. So that the Grandview offense doing a good job on that series and putting points on the board and answering the bell.
Well, after the pick 6, 3 consecutive touchdown drives. This one from Malakoff, giving up to Grandview, ties the score.
Hey guys, welcome back to AT&T Stadium. Malakoff and Grandview tied at 14 here in the second quarter. Welcome back down to the sidelines, everybody. I'm CT Steckel. Well, Dane Yench, he's a coach's kid. What does that mean? His dad, Clint, is the linebacker coach here for Grandview. And guess what? He's a dual threat quarterback who obviously gets the job done. He's off the charts athleticism. He was voted a team captain this year by his teammates, and he's the only returning starter on his defense that lost 10 players from a year ago. Brad Davis told me he studies the game. He's always looking to improve. He's coachable. The other kids on the team look up to him, a natural leader, commanding respect in the huddle. Clint Yench told me before the game his son is a self-starter, not afraid of hard work, and that the two of them sat in this building a year ago, fellas, watching state championship games, dreaming about competing here one day, and tonight it meant everything for them to take the field together. Craig?
Thanks, CT. They are indeed living the dream right now with a 14-14 tie. A shorter kickoff once more. It's Dylan Stearman on the return. Stearman had a good return on the short kick last time. This one comes out to the 36-yard line. 13 yards on the return. So Malakoff goes back to work. Yeah, I can get him back to Dane Yench. at the semifinal game. I'm sitting in the press box at the outstanding facility down in Pflugerville, the field in Pflugerville, and there were some Grandview administrators there in the box. I was chatting with some of them, and I asked him about Dane Yench, and he said, yeah, he's doing all right. He kind of surprised us a little bit because he's a sophomore. He goes, yeah, he's done okay.
Just a young guy coming in. He just had it between the years, and I think he's got the skills and ability. He's going to have a great future there and really leave a great legacy at that program.
Well, his opposite, number 3, has done well as well. That's Darion Peace, but he'll go to R.J. Carr with a stiff arm. Carr and a good first down carry, and up to the 43, a quick hit for 7.
Yeah, Jacob Patterson just trying to hang on there, and as Carr, we talked about him as a big body guy coming around. Watch him coming around. He's 225, 230 pounds, and he's got strength with that one hand there. He knocks Patterson to the ground. Good sized corner himself, 180 pounder, so but he hung on for dear life to get him down.
2nd down and 3 for the Tigers, and all eyes on the Malakoff huddle turned to the sideline for the instruction. Peace ready to go back to work and back to the ground. This time there's just nothing there at all for Carr. What a great bit of pursuit for Grandview coming over to bring him down, led by Jake Bonds.
Yeah, Jake Bonds just did a good job of penetration that time, Craig, is what got him back in the backfield. Watch number 67 strike through there and get a hold of him and not let him get anywhere. Good job for the big fella. He's made some pretty good plays there defensively. We talked about him earlier in the first quarter, stopping that run right at the point of attack, and gets into backfield that time.
So it's 3rd down, really a loss of about a half yard, so about 3.5 needed for the first. Peace with some time, downfield and incomplete. Unable to get turned for the football was Nathan Jones, but he was well covered down the boundary by Austin Boyd.
Yeah, the coverage was good. Nowhere really to go there. The defender actually was better positioned for that, and safety comes over the top here at the end late. But the ball, if it was thrown a little more on the sideline, he'd have a chance to potentially catch that football, though.
So a punt to come. Alvarado Garcia. Low snap. Garcia able to get the kick away. We'll take a bounce and a nice roll for Malakoff. Look at this. And that'll go all the way down to the 13-yard line. That's a 44-yard pump with no return. There was some movement in there, but no flags.
I thought that there was defensive encroachment on the left side of the defense. We'll take a look at here. Watch up here at the top of your screen as the motion comes through. Watch right there to see if he's gonna get in that. Well, maybe he
stayed outside the neutral zone.
He didn't cross the line of scrimmage. That was it. He was behind, so that's a good non-call there by the officials.
East Texas chapter. Now back to work on 1st down from the 14. Out of an empty Yench to hand off there on 1st down to Elijah Golden. Came in, settled back in. And Samir Ruiz comes over to make the stop for Malakoff. Gain of a yard. Yench quick out. And good running after the catch. A flag comes in after it's broken free by Austin Boyd. Boyd would have a huge gain. In fact, it would go for 58 yards, but it's not going to go for that because of a hold.
Yeah, I think that Casey Black's going to get called for holding on the outside. He's got one of the cornerbacks. He's just got his arms around him. He's trying to get that block out there, which was a huge play here for this Zebra offense, but that's coming all back. Take a look on the left side of your screen here. Watch number 12. Get that arm behind the backside, and that's what they're going to call. You see that exposed hand on the backside of the numbers of the defensive player, and they consider that holding.
Offense number 12. Half the distance to the goal. Remains 2nd down.
And that's one of those calls, Gary, where clearly the penalty is why the play was able to break for such big yardage out there.
Yeah, because if you let go of the guy, then he's going to make the tackle, and Elijah Golden there perhaps going to make that stop.
Instead, it'll go.
Excuse me, that was Kadarius Thomas he was holding.
So it's all the way back to the 8-yard line now. So the spot foul makes it now 2nd down and 16. Quarterback draw, and down goes Dane Yench. Caleb Adams coming in to drop him for a 4-yard loss.
Well, they told us that he was their best defensive player. If you watch this play, he's like he's shot out of a gun. Watch that middle linebacker zing right down the middle there, just an open lane, and Yates has nowhere to go. Caleb Adams coming on a blitz there that time. Pressure here, pressure against this spread offense. Good play call, good design, and well executed by Adams.
This is 3rd down and a long 19. It's just across the 4-yard line. And once more, the empty set with 5 receivers as Yates will stand on the goal line to take the snap. With some time, going deep, and he does have a man downfield, and just unable to come up with it was Morgan Wenstrup, junior receiver.
Early in the route, I don't think that Wenstrup was committed to running the route full speed. So unfortunate for him, because he had a wide open run for a touchdown if he had maintained his speed level. Quarterback anticipated where he would be and just kind of went off his hands a little bit out there too far. But I don't think he started well on that route, and might have been the deficit he needed.
Should be a really strong field position switch here going the way of Malakoff. Yates with a punt trying to get it away from Nathan Jones, and that did that hit him?
Hit his foot.
It did. And that's going to go over to Grandview. Sure enough, it might have caught the ankle or the foot of Nathan Jones, and that's a huge break for the Zebras.
And that ball popped right back up, and it was recovered by Grandview, no doubt about that. We'll take a quick look at it here. He's trying to get out of the way, and it actually just kind of, it's like a soccer ball where you stop the ball, and there you go, and right there off the ground, you see it hit both. I think it's going to continue much further if it wouldn't have hit him, so definitely there's some contact there, and Grandview is right there on the spot to pick it up.
Right, first held up play, but then the word comes from the booth, no, it's clean. It was a turnover, play on. So 1st and 10, Grandview from the Zebra 39. And Yates. Good running on 1st down, a gain of 8 yards out to the 47. Now may mark him at the 46, just beyond the 46. So 2nd down and a short 3 needed for the 1st. Outside, good running. Jacob Patterson, say goodnight to it. 54 yards.
Well, when you're playing man coverage on the outside and the defender falls down, that's how these types of explosive plays happen in open space with a spread offensive attack. This is nothing more than a quick little bubble screen here. One blocker there, he almost takes out 3 of them. He just goes around the edge. Well executed that time, and a huge play here for Grandview.
The extra point is good. And how about the turn of events? Turnovers make all the difference in the world. Grandview punting out of its own end zone, and they take advantage of this turnover.
Yates does that good job there getting the ball out there. He reads the blocking. Jacob Patterson just takes it to the house.
Just moments ago, Gary, there was Grandview punting from deep in its own end zone, and we're looking at this thinking Malakoff's going to get great field position, a chance to go in front. Instead, Grandview has its first lead of the night.
Well, they've had a big play. Malakoff's had a big play defensively, pick 6 for a touchdown. So those are the kind of things that happen in these state championship games. These players are all playing their hearts out to make something happen out there and do things right. And that was a huge play for Grandview. And the series of events was kind of a remarkable, with the punt out of your end zone. Actually, how they got backed up was really strange for that offense and being in that position. Yep, they punted the ball, touched by Malakoff, and next thing you know, it's another 60 yards into the end zone.
61 yards in 2 plays, and now let's see if Malakoff has the response here with 3.5 to go in the first half. We thought we might have this kind of game with these 2 first-timers.
Well, they played each other, obviously, we talked about earlier in the year, and week 4, a lot of time has gone on since then. I think they both remember a little bit about each other, and they know that this is going to be one of those types of games.
Andreas Garrett going a lot of east-west here, trying to turn north and can't do it. And Elijah Golden was downfield to make the tackle for Grandview. So Malakoff has it. Tigers have 2 timeouts remaining.
Is there a shoulder pad? Oh, that might have been a little bit of a face mask there. It may not have been called. You know, if he got his fingers inside the face mask or inside the shoulder pad, either one, he got him turned around a little bit.
At the 25. Evie Rose is in the backfield, but on play action outside, a nice swing outside, the hitch to Nathan Jones, and that's a first down to the 36.
A little misdirection there. I think they're going to run the ball front side and just like a bootleg, similar to they've done previously, and pop that ball out there. Gets his offense on the mark. Plenty of time to move the ball here. Got 3 minutes to go in this half.
And Malakoff with 2 timeouts as well. R.J. Carr now in the backfield. And it's to Carr. Grandview ready for it. Gain of nothing. Matt Lenhart, the sophomore strong side linebacker, on the stop.
You see Grandview with a 3-down lineman front here defensively, that 3-3 stack that they like to run. You can flip the zone and man outside with that front. On the right there, look at big number 1 there. That's Meaty Crown. He's 6'7" now. He can be a menace.
Set up the receiver screen this time, and breaking upfield. Nice run after the catch, and a first down. Ball came out on contact with the turf. Andreas Garrett had the first down, 12 yards, not a turnover. Down by contact, move of the chains, and a first down for the Tigers.
But the yards after contact that he continues. He's just dragging a Zebra defender right there on the tackle. Can't get him down on the ground. Taking Matt Lenhart for a ride.
For the Malakoff 48. Carr following some blocks and keeping those legs turning down to the 44-yard line for a pickup of 8. See the time remaining in the first half. Like you said, still time for Malakoff and 2 timeouts as well.
So if you're Grandview here, you're trying to put the brakes on with this offense. Trying to figure out a way to slow them down and get them to not be, at least not put points on the board here.
Well, Brad Davis wanted a timeout here to try to his defense back on its heels a little bit here, Garrett. He wants them to make a stand before the first half lead gets away. I want to remind you of what's coming up on the Ford Championship halftime report. Aaron Hardigan and Greg Tepper. And on the game trail, of course, they'll be joined by the Director of Athletics for the University Interscholastic League, Dr. Susan Elza. She's always a bundle of energy, and she's up almost round the clock over these 4 days and is just boundless energy and enthusiasm. That's all coming up in the Ford Championship halftime report.
It's been a fast ride here these last couple of weeks here with the semis and coming in here at AT&T with these 12 teams and 12 games rather. And it's been a special time. As UIL has done a really nice job of creating a unique event here with Fox.
2nd down and 2 out of the timeout for Grandview. R.J. Carr, not enough for the first down. Only a gain of a yard. Antonio Arellano on the tackle.
A little penetration there. Good job getting in the backfield, not allowing to get that first down here, but still plenty of time. Clock is ticking though. Buck, minute 40 left.
Malakoff still has yet to convert a 3rd down, Gary. The Tigers are 0 for 4. See what happens here. Peace to keep it himself and shook off a would-be tackler. Does pick up the first down near the 40-yard line. Now the clock stops at 1:22 to move the chains, and then they'll wind it again.
We'll get it started here. That was a good effort that time by the quarterback Peace. He had to break tackles to get that first down.
Just shy of the Grandview 40-yard line. And off play action. Peace to throw. Deep over the middle. Has Garrett. The catch juggled and dropped by Thomas. He was there. Kadarius Thomas just could not hold it.
Excellent throw that time by the quarterback, getting it out there. Darian Peace saw he had a streaking receiver going to the post route, and Kadarius Thomas, number 7, his big play guy, his number 1 target out there on the outside. He pulls it in, rolls up the arm, and just cannot corral that ball. Would have been a walk-in touchdown for it.
So Second and 10 with exactly a minute remaining in the half. Another look at Thomas, who made the great grab on the pick 6 in the first quarter, but unable to hold that one. And another timeout spent by Grandview on defense.
Interesting.
And that with the clock stopped.
Yeah, they got to get things in position there. And as you saw, Jacob Patterson really fell behind in the route that time, so that they know that the speed difference potentially is in the favor of Grandview. Kadarius Thomas running away from Jacob Patterson. Got a 5-yard separation there. So they may be looking at something similar to that to go back again with.
We always enjoy telling you about the journeys these teams travel to get here, both on the field and on the bus ride as well. It's not that long a bus ride from Grandview. It's in far southern Johnson County, right along the Johnson Hill County line, and just a 50-mile ride up 35W and then across I-30 over here to AT&T Stadium. But it's been a long journey to get to the state championship round for the first time in school history.
That's great for that community. I know that it's impressive for them to be here, to be a chance and see their journey to get here.
Taking out the defending state champion Rockdale, and by district beating a state-ranked 3A team in Franklin in the regional semifinal round. Did an excellent job. And then, of course, the semifinal win over a tough and hard-nosed Yoakum ball club last week.
False start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty is still second down.
Well, that's not what Malakoff needs here with a minute to go in the half, is to go backwards here as they're trying to get an equalizing touchdown before the first half's finished. Now it becomes second down and 15. Trouble coming for Beeks. Throws downfield, and that's picked off. Back the other way, it's the safety, Ryan Schrunk. Schrunk trying to follow some blocks. And so now Malakoff gives it back on a turnover.
Well, overthrown ball here that time by Darian Peace. He's got a receiver coming across the field, and I believe it's Kadarius Thomas. They wanted to work him from the backside across. Watch number 7, just overthrown there. See if you had it in front of him. It's actually Andreas Garrett he's trying to get the ball to. Good job playing center field there, picking up that interception by Ryan Schrunk.
So Grandview, after the Schrunk pick and the return, now Malakoff taking a timeout because Jamie Driscoll wants to make sure one mistake doesn't cost them even more here. Wants to settle down his defense because there's 47 seconds to go in the half.
Plenty of time here for this offense to work, and you're right, Craig. You don't want to make a defensive mental error that allows a big play here. We got a lot of momentum swing here. When you start going into halftime where you can make adjustments, I think either team would accept, you know, a 7-point deficit. You don't want that to grow to 14.
No doubt about that. Well, we told you about the location of Grandview and southern Johnson County. About Malakoff, they didn't have a real long drive to get here as well. Just a total of 91 miles over in Henderson County, not far from Cedar Creek Lake. Their first state title appearance, and they've had some close calls. They've had some opportunities. Semifinalists a couple of years ago, lost to Yoakum in the semifinal round. We mentioned to you that Jamie Driscoll said his actual quote, and I think he's okay with me saying this, but his actual quote was, "I got tired of sitting on my fat butt and watching teams
I love that one.
beat us and go to the state final." Word for word, that was the quote.
Yeah, and he put the work in. That's what he challenged his team to do, and they pulled it off.
From the 42. Yench down over the middle, sliding catch, and then ruled incomplete. As Austin Boyd was trying to come up with, well, clearly Grandview trying to get something more here before the half is done.
Yeah, it's going to be a shortstop here. That ball goes through the hands. Good call by the officials.
Second down and 10. Grandview, I think, is going to have to use its final timeout. The Zebras did not have what they wanted on the field. You may be wondering, you know, you look at that helmet there, the Grandview Zebras. You say, hey, you know, that's interesting. Why zebras? Why zebras in a state of unusual mascot names? And by the way, just about 10 miles down the road from Grandview is what I think is the quintessential unique mascot name in the state of Texas, the Itasca Wampus Cats. And there are several other unique ones across the state. The Hutto Hippos, certainly one of those. And you wonder why zebras? Well, the legend, and I do say it's the legend, has it from speaking with school administrators back several years ago. I was told that back in the 1920s, before the team really had a mascot name, they were just known as the local school at Grandview, and they had pretty much what they have now, white uniforms. They didn't have any stripes. They weren't known as zebras, but there was a fire at the school, and there was some smoke damage, and well, there were some black sooty marks on the uniforms.
They were folded, yeah.
They could not afford to replace the uniforms, and when they took the field, local sports writer, might have been from Cleveland, might have been from Fort Worth, said the team looked like a herd of zebras, and the name stuck. At least that's the legend. On second down. Pass downfield and unable to hold it is Casey Black. It's incomplete and brings up third down.
Good toss that time by Yates, though, to get the ball out there to him. He was under duress. A lot of pressure from Malakoff there on the defensive pressure.
Well, Grandview, by the way, won the toss and deferred the option. So the Zebras will get the football to start the second half. They'd love to have the
back-to-back here, yeah.
2 for 1 if
Double
you can
up.
have the back-to-back possessions with scores if they can get it. But right now they face 3rd and 10 with only 34 seconds remaining in the half and no timeout, so it's back to the ground to Golden. Golden will be moved out of bounds, but it is a short gain, a couple of yards to the 44, and that's it. It'll bring up 4th down.
And I would be very surprised if they do not punt this football. 24 seconds to go. You don't want to gamble it here. Maybe it's just be that pooch punt once again.
Yench, of course, remains out there. He is the team's punter. And Nathan Jones waiting the kick. Grandview is about to get a delay call, and they will. So it's going to cost the Zebras 5 more yards.
Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, Malakoff does have 1 timeout left here with 24 seconds remaining in the half.
You never know. Big plays, big opportunities, kicking games, special teams oftentimes are the difference in these types of ball games.
Jones will just let it roll. And that'll roll dead at the 24-yard line. A 38-yard punt with no return. I think both these teams are interested in just getting to the locker room and retooling.
Yeah, make some adjustments, figure out what they need to do, both offensively and defensively, to make some corrections. Probably going to see a halftime here. It's been entertaining first half, though. I think both teams have kind of got the nerves settled down a little bit. That first contact, you come into this ball game, you know, you little inhibition. You know, most times when collegiate teams, they go on the road for the first time, they like to have a walkthrough at the stadium. And why do you do a walkthrough? Well, so it's not your first time seeing the stadium. Well, most of these young men never have a chance to see a stadium, and to come in here at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys, it's pretty awesome, and it's an all moment for these players.
Well, it's been an entertaining first half. We thought these two teams in this championship game for the first time ever might deliver that sort of thing. Yeah, we saw some jitters, we saw some mistakes, but we also saw some big plays.
Yeah, we certainly did. These guys both have the opportunity to do so. They're both teams that have fought over adversity throughout the season. A couple of them experienced a couple of losses. Both teams have that over this last year. So this second half coming out, this period right now is critical to make corrections with the coaches.
Grandview will take a 7-point lead into the locker room. Head coach Brad Davis down on the sidelines with CT's Teckle.
All right, Craig, thanks so much. Coaches say adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. Dane Yench, that early pick 6, but he responded 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground. What would you say about his character in the first half?
He's a competitor. He's the kind of kid that if he has a bad play, he's going to go play the next play. He doesn't let that stuff bother him. So that's a big reason why we're here, Dane Yench.
Obviously, the turnovers help, Coach, but how do you limit the big plays here in the second half?
Well, we just got to cover better on the receivers. They've got some receivers open, and the quarterback's doing a good job finding them, but we'll get those coverages fixed second half and see if we can't stop them.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Okay, thanks.
Craig, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, CT. 21-14, Grandview the lead on Malakoff. Yeah, a lot of fun in the first half. A lot more fun coming up on the Ford Championship Halftime Report. Aaron and Tep have it for you.
Hey, Texas high school football fans, we hope you're enjoying the presentation of the 2018 Class 3A State Championship game between Grandview and Malakoff. I always enjoy watching Dane Yench highlights, and when he was at Grandview, back-to-back offensive and defensive state championship game MVP. And hey, did you know Dane Yench is actually coaching at Grandview now? Yes, he's an assistant, and his brother Briggs Yench actually just made the All-State team as a freshman. And how do I know this? Well, because we just had an article drop on TexasFootball.com about former Texas high school football all-stars in the late 2010s who are now coaching as assistants. It's kind of like a, holy crap, this guy's an assistant coach now. When did I get this sold? So head on over to TexasFootball.com now to see all those former stars in the Texas high school football ranks, giving back to the next generation. And we hope you enjoy the second half of this broadcast.
Coach, what was the message at halftime?
We just need to settle in. We made too many mistakes. They're a good team. They're too good defensively, too good offensively for us to make that many mistakes, and a lot of false starts and things like that. You know, we got to settle down and just play. And don't get frustrated. We got to keep playing, play each play.
Of course, their offense, you see what they were able to do in the first half. What would you like to see continue for your defense?
We got to tackle better, and when we get pressure, we got to get to the quarterback. Got to keep covering.
Thank you so much. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
It's exactly what we thought, Gary, that both coaches have got to tackle better in this football game.
Missed tackles, missed opportunities, clean that stuff up, and both coaches will be a little more happy.
Here's the kickoff. It's a short one, and in fact, it's going to be caught and then just stepping out of bounds right at the 34-yard line is Luke Ferguson. So Grandview will start with solid field position and a 7-point lead at 21-14. It was their first lead when they took it late there in the first half, and you see Dane Yench 50% through the air.
Yeah, it's not his best ever throwing the football. He had some errant throws get away from him. He's a much more efficient passer than that. We talked about that earlier in the ball game. But he's got enough numbers on the night to make things happen. He'd like to have that interception back, obviously, to start this ball game early in the first quarter. But see if they can take control here in his third quarter.
And he certainly helped his team with the 53 rushing yards, to which he will add right now with another 10 right there and a first down at the 44, I believe. Depending on the spot, it looks like he's got enough for the first down, and he does.
Almost a stop and start type of a methodology there, the way he runs. He's trying to find that hole and figure out. Let's take a look at the first half possessions here for this Zebra football team. You see the interception there that they did have that turned into points for Malakoff, but then they picked it back up. They had got the 3 scores there on their own. You see the drive, 69 yards, 61-yard touchdown there as well. So they have opportunity to put points on the board, and they took advantage of it in the second quarter.
At the 44. And back to Elisha Golden. Look at him step out of a tackle, and Golden with a gain of 5 to the 49.
Trying to be physical here, and I'm sure that was talked about, winning the line of scrimmage. You got to continue to do that, and that's really for both football teams. As you start to run this football, you want to impose your will on that defense and kind of wear them out. Good effort that time by Golden.
Ronnie Garcia finally with the tackle on second down. The quick pass outside, but this was snuffed out. Great play made Andreas Garrett to get right on Art Casey Black. As soon as he caught it, it loses 2 yards.
Long pass, almost slow and really behind the receiver. He didn't give him a chance to run into the screen that was set up in front of him. He had to turn back to get the football. That would kind of slow things down and allow the defense to react, and they got around the blocks and makes a negative play.
So now it brings up 3rd down and 7. Chance for Malakoff to get his defense off the field. But Yench has other ideas down the middle, too much on it. Was looking for Golden slipping out downfield and couldn't connect.
He had a skinny little post that Golden was running. He saw him running free. It's man coverage. He just overthrows the receiver here. So Yench put a little too much air on this and passed the receiver. Otherwise, that would have been a nice, huge play there for the Zebras to start out.
Yench, of course, remains on the field, even in punting situations. He is the team's punter, so this kind of situation near midfield, obviously Malakoff's got to play it safe, and they put no one back deep. So if Yench does wind up kicking the football, there'll be nobody back to field it for the Tigers.
Now to make a substitution here, the officials step in case Malakoff wants to substitute.
Here's the punt from Yench, and now Jones tried to get back, but again, nobody back there now. And look at this bounce and roll that it'll take all the way down. It'll drop dead at the 6-yard line. What an outstanding punt, 47 yards. But that's what happens when you've got a versatile athlete like Dane Yench who serves as your punter, and they have to respect him there in a 4th and 7 around midfield.
Nice punt. It looked like your wedge, Craig, on the 9th hole right by the green. You know, you just kind of pull it back there, pull the string back, and
it's like it's actually about a 5-iron from 120 for me, unfortunately. So it'll be Malakoff football from the Tigers' 6-yard line. A great punt by Yench, and now it's down to Darion Peace to try to turn things around for the Tigers.
Yeah, passing the ball, doing okay there, got the 1 pick, but he runs the ball also. Not as many yards here for him compared to Yench, but he's running this offense pretty well also.
How about Jake Bonds? Wow.
He's
just
had a night.
Yeah,
defensively, he's been the guy that I've noticed to make an impression here for this Zebra defense. Getting into the backfield and making a couple of tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Watch him just go right through the offensive tackle. Just overpowers the offensive lineman, and he gets back there. So excellent job there going through there.
Loss of 2, and it's 2nd down and 12. So Darion Peace will have to stand a couple yards deep in the end zone for this snap, and looks to throw out of his end zone. And boy, does he have a man open. The catch made by Nathan Jones. One man, Yench, the last man with a shot to get him, and he does wrap him up. Well, what a gigantic play. Throwing from his own end zone, Darion Peace to Nathan Jones, and that goes for 76 yards.
Well, I think there's a miscommunication here in the secondary for the Zebra defense here. Throwing out of the end zone, Darion Peace, he sees the receiver get behind the defender. Nathan Jones with good stride and good pace there. Big target, easy to get, and look at the effort here from the quarterback / middle linebacker safety and Yench coming over to make this tackle. That's pure effort, but a huge play that time for Malakoff.
66 yards down to the 30-yard line. Hand off to R.J. Carr. A gain of 3 to the 27.
You know, we've seen teams come out of their goal line area here really be superb. You know, big play here for Malakoff to get out of the shadow of your own goal line and now take it into plus territory here. They're on the move.
2nd down and 7. Early 3rd quarter. After Malakoff able to get a defensive stop, Tigers with the big hit, a 66-yard pass play, and now in business. Peace. Zone read keeper, but it only works for a couple, maybe to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, they just kind of looked slow and unorganized right there at the line of scrimmage, and so Peace not having the benefit of that. It's interesting how this offense is kind of running, and they all look to the sideline here to the coaches, and the coaching staff is going to call the plays and get the play into it. They're signaling it here. Pretty interesting that you got the line coach, you've got the coordinator calling the signal, and it's all communicated. No huddle. That's this offensive system.
So it's 3rd down and 5, and they'll run it inside, and Grandview sees it coming. Kadarius Thomas nowhere to go, no gain on the play. Matt Lenhart on the stop.
Well, Lenhart's a guy who's been around the football. The other Lenhart, his brother Michael out there also, they get around that football and play hard, and you know, number 4 here showed up quite a bit, and that's a good tackle.
So now 4th down and a long 5 needed for the first. It's a big moment for both of these teams early here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, this is what it's about. You know, you got 4th down, and this is the money down here. 4th down, if you can convert, you can keep your drive going, stay alive. Positive for Malakoff, but it could be very positive for Grandview if they stop it.
Darion Peace with a deep retreat, still retreating, and then downfield, and that is incomplete, I think. And really and truly, they're going to call that an interception. Started to say it would be better serving the Zebras to let it go, but Austin Boyd, it's almost kind of like an excuse me interception, and Grandview's going to take over at the 10-yard line.
Well, they're trying to throw a screen pass, and this is actually like a punt for the offense on 4th down. He's better off for the Grandview Tigers. Zebras did not catch that football, which he does. It looks like it's a good catch if they're going to give him that. That's an interception, but the field position would have been better to just let that hit the turf.
Yeah, this would be one where if you're Brad Davis, you would hope that replay would overturn your own interception.
It's interesting. That would be a better field position solution for you. And he's going to probably call timeout here just to see if they'll even take a look at it here, because every play is going to be looked at in the replay booth, and they can stop the play if they warrant it. They're choosing not to here.
So it'll be Yench on 1st down. Wow, look at him shake off the tackle and then Yench turns it into a big gainer on first down, nearly 9 yards.
Craig, he ran into a wall, partly his guys, partly the Malakoff Tiger defense, and then he comes back to this side near the original line of scrimmage and finds a way to get some positive yards. Watch the wall that he just runs into right there, boom. Now he's got to get back and find some way to get positive yardage, which he does, and almost a first down.
Went right under the right arm of Zamir Ruiz, who was trying to wrap him up. A gain of 9, and it's 2nd and 1. Back to the ground to Golden, and that's a first down. So Elijah Golden moved the chains with a 3-yard pickup to the 22.
Yeah, big Brendan McClintock there, defensive lineman, gets off his block and just absorbs Elijah Golden coming through there.
Approaching the midway mark of the 3rd quarter. This was the score we had at the half, with Grandview up 21-14 on Malakoff here in the 3A Division I state championship. Each of these schools trying to win their first ever state titles, their first ever appearance for both. 1st and 10 from the 22. Golden spitting, still churning forward for a pickup of 4 on first down.
Craig, do you sense the physicality ramping up here for both these teams at the line of scrimmage? That's what it's all about, being more physical than the other team. And I think both of these teams have made it a conscious effort to be more physical than the other. And I see it on display here.
2nd down and 6. Yench with a long look to the sideline. And he'll go to the air. But again, Malakoff right there and ready for it. It's a pass out to Austin Boyd. What a big play there made by Andreas Garrett.
He is. I mean, he just came off. He read that quickly. Did a nice job of understanding, what the play design is going to be. It's going to be that quick screen pass. He just avoids the defender there and makes that sure tackle around him, and being physical again, making a good sure tackle there. Excellent job by Andreas Garrett.
Loss of a yard, and now 3rd down and 7. And there you see a little physical play there on the tail end of it on 3rd and 7. Yench going to be stopped short. Right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, another tackle that time by McClintock, who's had 2 on this drive. Number 68 for the Tiger defense. He just kind of got off of his block and then made a nice sure tackle there on the quarterback.
Well, to your point, Gary, about physicality, both of these teams in their semifinal wins, Grandview's over Brock, or Malakoff's over Brock, and Grandview's over Yoakum, they both got real physical in the second half and really limited their opponents. And that's what we've seen so far from both sides. Here's the kick. And again, Jones unable to get back to it, but it goes out of bounds. So it'll be Malakoff football. And first of all, there's 1,225 programs playing football in the UIL system. 704 qualify for the playoffs. That's a 57%. And then it drops considerably. Only 24 actually play in these games in Arlington. That's less than 2%, and less than 1% win a state football championship.
Well, what that tells you, you can get to the playoffs. Yeah. More than half the teams do get to the playoffs, but you know what? It's a tough battle to get here. These two teams have earned the right to compete for this championship.
How about an option pass downfield, and unable to complete it? Andreas Garrett had Sebastian Masajic wide open downfield, but could not connect with him. Nathan Jones was there as well, but neither able to get to it.
Well, that's just a missed opportunity that time by Malakoff. They had the great defensive stop there on the Grandview offense, got the ball back, and a lot of times coaches want to just go for that big play and do something a little unique with a halfback pass, which they've tried and almost had a big one.
So it is 2nd down and 10. We're talking about the 704 who made the playoffs, and some folks say, well, is that too many? Listen, we've seen the cream pretty much rise to the top. The vast majority of the teams here in the championships have been state ranked at some point throughout the course of the season, including these 2 before they had losses that took them out of it.
Going to have the running back, just the motion man pulled forward
Prior
too
to
fast.
snap, false start. Number 7 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
And that's the 4th false start call against Malakoff this evening.
Yeah, disappointing that they're having those miscues here on this big stage and shooting themselves a little bit here and not allowing their offense to just kind of execute the way they'd like to.
So it's 2nd down and 15 for the Tigers.
Haven't heard a lot from number 10 here, Keevy Rose, and he's actually not in the ball game here. And
R.J. Carr back out there. And it is Carr with the carry. And look at Carr go. still on his feet, and a first down on 2nd down and 15. R.J. Carr picks up 17.
We talked about early in the ball game that he was injured early in week 2, was missed for almost the entire season, really got him back here. And I know that Jamie Driscoll's proud to have that young man back because you look at his explosive capability, and he's a big running back, 225-pounder as we talked about, and just kind of runs through those arm tackles.
Malakoff on the move now with the Grandview 45. Play action and struggling to get outside. Peace throws it across, but that's broken up. Dangerous pass there, was looking for Garrett. And there was Jacob Patterson to break it up.
Well, Jacob Patterson almost comes over the receiver to almost intercept that ball, as you said, Craig. And this is kind of a dangerous pass here by Darian Peace, throwing back across the middle of the field to a receiver. Showed his athleticism to get away from the defenders. Almost had a sack on him, though.
So 2nd down and 10 for Malakoff.
Look at that helmet. He's got been in a lot of stuff. Done a lot of good stuff there for that football team.
Carr trying to slide through tackles and can only pick up a yard to the 44. Once more stuffing the line there. Antonio Arellano in on the tackle. Weak side linebacker.
Yeah, they're looking defensively. They're going to rush 3. Going to put a 3-down defensive line here and going to bring in another defensive back here on this 3rd and long situation for Grandview defensively. It's man coverage, though, so if they can exploit a matchup, they can throw the ball out there with potential to make a bigger play.
Peace with some time to throw. Deep, looking for Garrett. Downfield, he's got it for the touchdown, or just out of bounds. Yes, he's in. Touchdown, 44 yards.
Well, they defeat the man coverage I just talked about, and they had their speedster out there, Andreas Garrett. Young man who kind of leads his team in average per catch on his receptions, over 20 yards per reception. Does a nice job. Little push off here, a little separation with that right hand as he jostles it. But the ball was definitely there. Good throw and good catch. And he held that ball out across the goal line before he stepped out of bounds, which is why they called it a touchdown.
Smart play there to extend the ball inbounds across the plane before stepping out of bounds. And that's one thing the officiating crew, the replay booth, wants to make sure of as they do a quick check.
Nothing here to slow that down, so they're going to let that touchdown go. Malakoff fights right back in this thing.
The touchdown stands for the conversion. Hector Romero looking to tie the score. And now, I'm not sure unless there was a false start call, because it wasn't a delay call. Somebody might have moved.
Legal substitution. 12 minutes of formation on the defense. It's half the distance to the goal. We'll replay the strike.
Well, Zebras with an extra man on the field and half the distance. And if you're Jamie Driscoll, do you say, why not go ahead and take a shot and go for 2? Apparently not. They'll go ahead and just line up for an even shorter conversion to tie the score.
Yeah, plenty of time to get other scores here. I think this is the right call to go for that extra point.
And Romero puts it through. 2:49 to go, 3rd quarter. 44-yard touchdown pass to Andreas Garrett. They're happy again in Malakoff. Game tied.
Welcome back to the 3A Division I state title game between Malakoff and Grandview. Malakoff just tied up the game 21-21 in the 3rd quarter. But if you can hear behind me right now, the fans in the Malakoff stands are chanting, "We believe." This has been something we've been hearing all game long, and it's directly tied to that storyline I told you about earlier. Kenneth Hayes, grandfather of Kyler Dalrymple, that was his motto, "We believe." And of course, in a big showing like this for their first time at state, they really do believe that they have a chance at winning the state title, guys.
No doubt about it, Sarah. Thanks. And why not after that big play and inspirational story there. Kyler Dalrymple, an anchor along that offensive front. Great drive and the big play to cap it for the Tigers to tie the score. On the return, out over the 30 and to the 34-yard line is Casey Black. So 18 yards on the return. So we've talked about response on both sides. We saw Malakoff respond, big response. What does Grandview have for an answer?
Yeah, well, Grandview came out, did not get anything going on that first drive. Obviously had to punt the football away. Malakoff capitalized and put the ball in the end zone. They had an exceptional offensive play there, the big touchdown strike. What chance to answer is what you're talking about, Craig. You got to respond to it, and this game is knotted up here. Who's gonna take control?
Malakoff with the momentum now. Let's see what Grandview does here. Yench. About to follow blocks. Look at that pursuit by the Tiger defense. They'll hold Dane Yench to 2 yards.
Yeah, and I think the defense is deployed very, very well here to contain this run game, to look inside. They're not allowing the explosive run play game here. You got two deep safeties. You got your corners kind of squared in, almost a quarters coverage here looking in. They'll be able to handle the run game here out of this formation.
Pass on second down. Again, Malakoff quick on the hit. It's a 4-yard catch for Austin Boyd, but it's going to bring up third down now.
Yeah, the thing that they're lacking on the outside on this quick pass game is the wide receiver blocking to make an explosive play, which is what most teams typically do. You find that one receiver that is going to be able to make a block that springs that other receiver for that big play. We haven't seen that yet from Grandview here.
Caleb Adams, Dylan Stearman on that last tackle. We called their names quite a bit tonight. They've been around the football for Malakoff. Third down, and now it's to Golden on the ground, and he stopped short. And the Tiger defense fired up. It'll bring up fourth down.
I told you that the defense kind of had a way to handle this run game here, so good job on the defensive line. They actually do a little bit of a stunt there with a move inside to get around the blockers and free up the linebackers to run right in the hole to make that tackle.
Fourth down and a long two. Let's see what Grandview chooses to do here. Of course, Yench doubles as the punter.
I think a little bit too early to make this an offensive play here, but you know what? This is a state championship game. You only have just a few opportunities.
They're going for it, and Yench has it. Well, again, that's the luxury you have when your quarterback is your punter and your defense has to try to play honest.
And Malakoff looked at it as this is their offense out there. We're not doing anything different defensively, but this is a well-executed play. They got the little trap here with the offensive guard or tackle coming around and opening that hole up there for the quarterback.
Back to the ground again. As the Zebras try to continue to move this on the ground, but
remember, Craig, early in the first quarter, or late in this first quarter, second quarter, when they started going up tempo for Grandview, that seemed to be kind of where they were most effective against this Malakoff defense.
Outside is Yench. Picked up a block and has another first down for Grandview. Into Malakoff territory now. Down at the Tiger 40-yard line, a gain of 12.
Now let's see if they keep the accelerator pedal down there and just kind of go up tempo, a little bit of a speed pace here to kind of try to wear out this defense here for Malakoff and make some big chunk plays. They're doing so well here on the ground.
We're seeing both of these quarterbacks really make plays for their respective sides. And we'll take it to the fourth quarter. 12 more minutes of football to decide a 3A Division I state championship. And what a championship game it's been so far.
You know the age-old saying that recruiting never sleeps. Well, that's true here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We just named the 5 stars in the class of 2027. And now we're wasting no time. We're going to go ahead and look at the class of 2028, as we just named 20 new 4-stars in the class of 2028. And of course, all of them deserve to be on the 5-star watch list. You can check all of that out on texasfootball.com/recruiting starting tomorrow.
We mentioned they would both be factors, and they have been. Here's Yench on first down, and again, the Tiger defense makes an adjustment. Colby Rush, the middle linebacker, on the stop.
Do a straight quarterback draw that time, and good job defensively of recognizing that and closing that gap. Just a short gain.
2nd and 9.
There's
outside.
that block.
That'll pick up a few yards. Jacob Patterson on the catch. A nice run after the catch. It's a gain of 7.
Yeah, the block on the outside by Casey Black was what sprung them that time. So good job of getting the ball out there quickly to get around that edge.
And some movement there is going to cost Grandview and turn 3rd and 2.5 and a 3rd and 7.5.
False start. Number 65 of the offense. A 5-yard penalty Remains third down.
Well, sometimes just your stance just isn't just right. I think that's what happened to him. He was ready to get back there, and he just kind of toddled back out of that stance. So now it's third and a little bit longer there.
So a long 7 needed for the first down now after the false start. Yates will shift Elijah Golden around. And before they can get going, there's another flag and another false start against Grandview.
False start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
First it was the left tackle Cole Cannon, now the right tackle Cade Bennett here.
Well, this just makes it too difficult. You know, way at the top there, you see a little flinch. That's exactly what the officials are seeing, and Inch is going to go for that pass to the outside for that quick bubble screen again.
Third down, a long 12 needed for the first. Inch going deep, and he does have a man open. Caught down to the 16-yard line. Austin Boyd, 26 yards.
Well, this is what's called in the defense second man through rule. Well, that's a little terminology. You probably don't know what that means, but there's the receiver goes right down. He's first, but the second man through, nobody is accounting for him. And that's what happened there. Good call and good play design and execution.
And quickly back to the line, and look at Golden just dragging tacklers with him inside the 10. Big first down run for Elijah Golden of 9 yards.
Yeah, good throw this time. The quarterback reading it. Good job getting it in there, and good concentration pulling that football in, and makes a good hit. Good catch there for Austin Boyd.
Second down, it's Yates this time extending the ball, and it should be enough to pick up the first down.
Yeah, Colby Rush, the linebacker, right there filling the gap, gets a shoestring tackle. Otherwise, Yates is going to get that touchdown.
It'll be first and goal.
Look from behind here, and you'll see that the quarterback is right there. It's one-on-one. You see the big gap there. There's a lot of area to run, and that's a nice tackle that time by Rush.
This will be the 12th play of the drive coming up for Grandview. It's more Dane Yens checking with the sideline for the play call.
Zone coverage this time by Malakoff. Stay on top of things.
It's to Elijah Golden, and Malakoff's defense responds. Big wrap up by Kyler Dalrymple.
And Dalrymple gets off the block there, goes around, and got a penalty flag here late here after the play and the tackle. Let's see what that line judge is calling.
Dalrymple slow to get up.
So see him fight off the block and then get that tackle, and he's tackling him around the head. And maybe there's a face mask there.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 33 of the defense. It's half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Well, Kyler Dalrymple had him wrapped up, but you're going to see Parker Bush come in at the tail end right there, and that right hand is on the cage.
Definitely on the cage and on the helmet, and good call by the officials.
So it's half the distance to the goal, and it resets it as first and goal now inside the 40-yard line.
Interesting how these offenses have responded here, and Malakoff took care of business earlier, and now Grandview on the march.
Golden lined up in the pistol. It is Elijah Golden to the goal line, and he's across. And Grandview jumps back in front here early in the fourth quarter in this seesaw 3A Division I championship.
Well, Brody Smith, the offensive center, number 54, does a nice job there of cleaning things out and allowing his running back to get through there. Take a look here as that pile is in there. 67 Bonds does also a nice job also. So good open space there for that running back to get through there, Elijah Golden, and a nice drive and touchdown here for Grandview.
The extra point is good. 9:15 to go in the game. Malakoff led 7-0. It was 7-7. Malakoff led 14-7. It was 14-all. Grandview went up 21-14, tied at 21, and now Grandview back in front, 28-21. It's for the state championship. It's been a good one so far, and still more to come.
And welcome back to AT&T Stadium. 28-21, Grandview now on top of Malakoff here in the 3A Division I title game. Back down on the sidelines, I'm CT Steckel. Ryan Ebner, the defensive coordinator here for Grandview. He is calm, cool, and collective. Yes, after that left Malakoff scoring play, head coach Brad Davis visibly upset with the officials looking for that offensive pass interference call. Zero reaction out of Ebner. The defensive staff is preaching to their kids to be aware of down and distance, knowing what they need out of each play, and they're trying to get them to believe, to get their eyes in the right places. With multiple blown coverage in this game, guys, and giving up the close to 25 yards of pass play to Malakoff, we'll see how they respond. Craig?
Thanks very much, CT. Well, both teams all in on this one. This has been fun from the outset. There was a great comeback today earlier in the game that preceded us. Canadian down 21-0, pulled to within 21-16, but Newton held on to win its 5th overall state championship. But this is the first game where wire to wire it's been close.
Yeah, it has. It's been back and forth and fun, entertaining ball game, and you can see the ebbs and flows of things that are challenging to these teams.
Kickoff fielded short by Stearman. Trying to move it upfield and brought down at the 31. So now Malakoff has to go back to work, down 7, plenty of time left in this game.
Well, I think they've relied on their run game quite well with Darion Peace throwing it effectively. RJ Carr, I think, has been impressive as a running back and going through those holes that offensive line have opened up against this Grandview defense. Let's see if they can continue and answer once again.
See the Tigers heading back out there, and Darion Peace, who has led them throughout the course of this game, looking to go back to work again. With some time to go deep. Up the sideline and incomplete. Looking down that sideline, it was trying to connect with Parker Bush, the tight end, slipping out. They'll line up 2 tight ends and then flex one out.
They'll just spread out. It looks like a 4 wide receiver look and move him down the field. Bush is a good athlete. They like his capability, and he's got he stretches the field too. He averages almost 20 yards per reception, Craig.
Second down and 10. Both Kiwi Rose and RJ Carr are in the backfield. It's Carr. Got a good block, did RJ Carr, and look at him continue to run, pushing the pile forward. I think the forward progress should be enough for the first down.
Yeah, I think he was probably a good foot past the marker. I'm right on it here, right on the 40-yard line, and probably going to move these chains here. That's my guess. Yeah, they're go ahead and signaling it that it is a first down. Good job and good effort that time by Carr, and you got Kiwi Rose out in front blocking as well, so those running backs helping each other.
At the 41 now, 1st and 10. And they'll bunch the receivers and H-backs over on the right side of the formation. Now, he's under a lot of pressure. He's going to go down. Looked like he was about to escape at first, and then Michael Lenhart came over to join Demetrius Crownover for the sack.
Yeah, a little dirty work there defensively. You got to get back there. The big fella gets a little action here. Watch number 1, that's big meaty Crownover, and gets his hands on him. He's got the sack, and then Crownover helps, as you said, Craig. Big play this time by Grandview defensively. Good little arm over action on the defensive rush. First big sack of the day here for this defense.
Loss of 15 yards on the play, and it's back to the 26.
Demetrius Meaty Crownover.
Carr returns to the backfield. Peace trying to take it upfield, only able to pick up a couple to the 28-yard line. Zebra defense watching him carefully. Cade Fedor, the sophomore nose guard, on the stop, along with Michael Lenhart.
Yeah, Lenhart and Fedor, all of those three, those guys have played their hearts out today, and a lot of effort you see up there, and kind of been impressed with Cade Fedor up there, number 59. He is a guy that is hard to block, and he has fought through double teams all day long.
It's an important 3rd down for Malakoff. Even if they can't pick up the 1st down, they're trying to get it upfield a little bit, flip the field position, or go for a bigger strike, and unable to hold it, unfortunately. Open there, but Nathan Jones just didn't hold it. Otherwise, it would have been a 1st down, and now it's 4th down.
This is one of those opportunities to make a big play, and Nathan Jones is just thinking a little bit too fast, thinking about what he's going to do after the catch, and unfortunately his head, you see his eyes go away from it, and it's a ball that he normally would catch. He's a good receiver. Just did not pull this one in and concentrate well enough to make that catch before you can take that next step.
a punt. And Yates will let it bounce. It takes a fortuitous roll for Grandview. It goes out down at the 43-yard line. So Grandview with a 28-21 lead on Malakoff here. This is the 3A Division I state championship. We've seen some memorable games in 3A D1 in recent years, including Rockdale last year winning the title, Mineola winning its first state crown coming out of East Texas, Brock, which lost to Malakoff in the semifinals, Cameron Yo and Carthage, before Carthage moved up to 4A, where they dominated for a few years, back-to-back state titles. That streak broken this year. And one of these teams is going to win its first state title, and Grandview trying to hold on to the football as well as a 7-point lead as Dane Yench was stopped on first down, losing a yard.
Yeah, as you see that list that we went through, one of these teams is going to be on that list as the next state champion, and that's a mouthful, because that's some good talent that they both have gone through, and the road to this championship is not an easy one, as we've described here today. But we just got a few short minutes, 6 minutes left in this ball game, and we're going to find us a new state champion.
Second down and 11, and Yench has to pull the ball out of the air and then really takes a hard hit from Parker Bush, who knocks him down, a loss of 4 more. This is a point where Malakoff's defense really has to step up, and they've done so on the first 2 downs.
Unfortunate there for Yench. He just kind of mishandles that ball. It's a hard snap just at his head. It's a little over the top. Unfortunate there. Brody Smith kind of got a little more of that than he wanted to on that snap, bringing it back, and then Parker does what he does and makes a nice play for that Malakoff defense.
Now, 3rd down and 16. Just past the midway mark of the final quarter. Crucial 3rd down for both of these teams. Yench with pressure coming, has to get rid of the football, incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down. So Malakoff's defense does respond. They get a 3 and out, and they'll get the football back with time still to try to get downfield for a game-tying touchdown.
Yeah, plenty of time here now. Remember, now this is the quarterback here who's punting the ball for Grandview. They may have a wrinkle or something. I wouldn't advocate calling a fake or anything like that here, but almost a punt safe look here from this defense anyway.
Yench trying to kick away from Jones, and he'll signal for a fair catch and make it a fair catch at the 30-yard line. So it's a punt of 32 yards. So good field position to start off now for Malakoff. Down 7, and you see tonight's attendance. There's that statement right there speaks what Texas high school football is all about. You have more than 18,000 here, and the combined population of Grandview and Malakoff is less than 4,000.
Wow, that's great support. You know, the surrounding communities around both of those towns is really what is making this attendance. And you know, there's a lot of fans. There's a lot of alumnus, so to speak, of the communities, and so they're all here supporting.
Back to the ground to R.J. Carr, looking for a block, trying a stiff arm, nothing working. No gain on the play. Might have lost about a half yard on the play, and it's 2nd down.
Now this is just an answer here for both teams. You know, defensively, Malakoff did a nice job there turning away Grandview, and now this Grandview defense makes another play and fights off the blocks. Pretty impressive.
Darius Thomas, Andreas Garrett, receiver, and Malakoff's going to take a timeout.
The first timeout of the half.
Timeout was actually taken by Grandview, not by Malakoff. The official originally, Darren Laird, pointed Malakoff, but it was Grandview's timeout.
Well, this defense for Grandview, you know, when this season started, they only had 1 returning starter, and that was Dane Yench, who played as a freshman, played back there at linebacker and safety. Well, they had to replace 10 guys, and they have all grown up quickly.
2nd and 10. A lot of time for Peace to go downfield, and too much on it, trying to connect with Andreas Garrett.
Boy, a lot of arm strength there. Throws that ball probably almost 55, 60 yards in the air, all the way across the field and down and out of bounds. That was a heck of a throw.
Certainly important to try to get some yardage out of it,
sure,
even if you want to consider going for it on 4th, although the Tigers do have all 3 of their timeouts left. And that's a bad snap. It got away from Peace. Can he make something happen? He'll throw it. But this is going to be a negative play unless Garrett can come up with something spectacular. He does a great job to get that up, and a late flag comes in. This might end up working out after all for Malakoff.
I think they're going to get a face mask here. And what an effort that time by Andreas Garrett as he gets that football well behind the original line of scrimmage. He comes back to help his quarterback, who is completely under duress, and that makes something out of nothing.
It was going to be a
Personal
4-yard
foul.
gain.
Face mask. Number 16 of the defense.
Wow.
That's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
The extemporaneous nature of this game reveals such odd things as this.
Ball is snapped a little early, and the quarterback is not ready for it. He picks the ball up and throws it, and his receiver makes something happen. You know, he's got some blocking there, and Andreas Garrett getting back there. And then at the end here, he's going to get a face mask penalty at the end, trying to be too forceful on that tackle. You see, it's a good call here, the official. Any part of the helmet that you're pulling or grabbing or turning, that is considered a face mask.
So from the 49, now deep downfield, and that is caught at the 15-yard line. Kadarius Thomas then ruled incomplete. Had it in his hands, upset with himself. He thought he had it going to the turf, but it's an incomplete pass.
Well, I think he had the ball, but I think the defender finally got the ball, knocked it away. Let's see if he gets this thing knocked out. Didn't have complete control of it with both hands. So good throw and good effort to make that catch, but I think really a good defensive play.
Cooper Deans.
That's Cooper Deans, yeah.
Had the coverage, and it's 2nd and 10 from the 49. Keevy Rose in the backfield with Darion Peace. And it's Peace to keep it himself. Turn it outside. Nice open field tackle made by Arellano. It's a gain of 6 yards, however, and it brings up 3rd down in a makeable 3rd down situation for Darion Peace and the Tigers. Still time to go, and they have all 3 of their timeouts.
Yeah, well, definitely here in plus territory. I think this is, there's no doubt that it's 2-down territory if they don't make it here on 3rd down. Time is kind of moving away from you. You got to do something.
3rd and 4. Up the sideline, it has a man and too much on it. Wow. Peace had Parker Bush open, just let him a little too much. Now, 4th down, and Malakoff is going to go for it.
Yeah, Parker Bush is a 220-pounder, just gets around the defender. The ball definitely overthrown, almost a full yard over his head. This one would have been a touchdown here for Malakoff. That ball was on the money. 4th down here, and they're staying out there. They're going to move with it.
Biggest play of the night right now. Everybody on their feet at AT&T Stadium. 4th down and 4. Peace under pressure, incomplete. Grandview brought the heat. Darion Peace unable to find a receiver, and the ball goes over on downs to Grandview.
Well, Demetrius Beatty Crownover puts the pressure on the quarterback Peace and forces him to throw this football. Not very comfortable in that delivery, and it really wasn't a good throw here whatsoever, but looking for the bootleg, and I think this is a good play. Get the quarterback out in space, but throws it into traffic there and low, and unable to come up with the grab is Andreas Garrett.
Well, Grandview, the charge for the offense now is to keep possession of the football with 3:17 to go. Not necessarily to have a scoring drive, but they will keep it himself. Malakoff closing quickly, and a nice play made by the strong safety Dylan Stearman to make the tackle, no gain.
And instantly a timeout called there. Good job coming up. That's that slant counter with the quarterback run game there. They're going to allow the clock to run. They did not get the timeout called, or they're going to kind of maybe save one, put it in their back pocket to use it on offense. So this offense should allow this play clock to go all the way down.
Yeah, they can wait, and that's what Brad Davis wants Dane Yench to do. In fact,
10 seconds now.
Looking over the sideline, I said, okay, now the nod coming from the sideline. Yench, the toss outside. Golden on his feet, still moving, and he's got a 1st down.
What an effort.
Wow, and a late flag comes in. Elijah Golden definitely picked up the 1st down, but I think there was some frustration there on the part of the Tigers, and it may cost them 15 more.
Good job by Golden with the 2nd effort, getting that 1st down, as you said, Craig. But unfortunately, a little extracurricular by Parker Bush after the whistle here, or after the tackle, getting up off the ground. And
after the play, unsportsmanlike conduct number 32 of the defense. That's number 32's first unsportsmanlike conduct. It's an automatic first down.
It was right there at the end.
Yeah, Colby Rush on the bottom of that pile. I thought it was Parker Bush.
Well, now
it becomes more difficult here for Malakoff if you're looking to get back in this ball game.
Well, the Tigers, first and foremost, are going to have to use their timeouts and get a stop. But the ball, of course, getting deeper and deeper into Malakoff territory, even if they can gain possession without giving up any points. And, of course, they can't allow any further points, would make it difficult as it is. But they have to get a stop. Grandview is doing exactly what it wants.
Coaches are holding the snap here.
That's going to be a false start. Yeah, Golden kind of moved there, flexed.
Delay, giving disconcerting signals. Number 54 of the defense, simulating the snap count. That's a 5-yard penalty.
And that's why Elijah Golden moved, because Zamir Ruiz and Jamie Driscoll says, you got to be kidding me.
This is very rarely called, but it is a kind of a new rule here in football. It's definitely in vogue in the NFL, where you aren't allowed to snap or bark and call, and Coach Driscoll doesn't like it whatsoever. I'm surprised they would actually call this in this type of a ball game in this environment, but nonetheless it was, and brings up a 1st and 5 now here for Grandview. Malakoff has got to do something here. You got to think, strip the ball. You got to be able to get that ball away from this offense, because if they get another first down, these timeouts that they're having in their bag, they're not going to be enough.
Back to the ground to Golden. 1st and 5. He picks up nearly 4.
There's the timeout.
With 2 minutes to go.
Sideline.
Going back to Coach Driscoll, he's really upset with the crew there. That's an East Texas officiating crew, too. He's pretty upset with them, though. He's still using the timeout to talk about it with Darren Laird, to say the movement happened, and that's, I think what his argument is here, Gary, is he's saying he's calling out our defensive signals, not mimicking the snap count. And Darren Laird saying it too closely resembled the snap count, I guess.
Well,
I'm guessing that's the conversation.
That's probably the conversation, but nonetheless, he's losing the argument. He has lost the argument because it has been called, officiated, and then enforced on the field. But for future purposes, you'll live and learn on that one. But it's a penalty against Malakoff, and 2nd down and 2 yards to go here. This needs to be an all-out defensive effort to stop Grandview from advancing that ball whatsoever. You're trying to get a negative play, pull that ball out, do something to disrupt it, because with 2 minutes to go in this ball game, your entire season, your state championship opportunity is on the line here.
3 games yesterday, 3 today, 3 more tomorrow, and then it all concludes on Saturday, beginning Saturday morning at 11 o'clock with a 5A Division I state championship. Highland Park looking to make it a three-peat in 5A D1, taking on Shadow Creek High School. That's at 11 a.m. And then at 3 o'clock, it shifts to Conference 6A, the Division II, and then 6A Division I to wrap it up. And on the carry, straight ahead. And that's a 1st down.
Now, Dane Yates has led this football team all day, and he's done a nice job running the ball, orchestrating this offense, and the decision process that he's made, either to hand off or to keep that ball, I think has been exactly what he's needed. Hasn't had his best day throwing the football, but I think he'll take the effort. They're up here with a touchdown, and the clock is just going to evaporate here on Malakoff. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to, I don't think they'll be able to get this ball back whatsoever.
Well, they could stop it twice, but obviously Grandview is going to take its time in running it down before every snap.
The clock is started right now.
Back to the ground to Golden. Still moving forward and still pushing that pile, and there's some pushing and shoving going on here at the tail end of the play. Now, Malakoff will call the timeout. And again, there's some Guys stepping over one another. I think there's some guys getting tired right now and some frustration perhaps setting in. Here's a call.
We'll take a look at it here as the big pile gets in there, as you talked about, Craig, and a little pushing. There it is. There's another one, and helmet's coming off.
And I think that's what the announcement was about, the player losing the helmet. The ball's at the 14-yard line after that gain of 4.
Well, you take it all the way back to early in the season when this team played previously. Grandview defeated Malakoff, and they're ahead here towards the end of this game in this repeat of this ball game in the state championship game. And you talk about it, Craig, at the start of the telecast, and how rare this is to have two teams that meet in non-conference play actually meet in the state championship game.
You're right, because it would be early in non-district play. Malakoff also had the oddity of one game being canceled. I say oddity. It turned out not to be so odd all across the state of Texas. This was the rainiest, stormiest high school football season that I can recall, and there were games canceled and postponed all across the state. Malakoff wound up having one game canceled as a result of non-district. That first meeting was in Grandview. The Zebras won at 28-7. This one, a much better ball game. We figured it would be so, and that's where it is at 28-21 right now, but time running out on the Tigers. They have one timeout left. And Grandview realizing they just that close to claiming a state crown. Yinch will keep it himself. Down he goes. Malakoff to use its final timeout with 1:13 to go. So third down coming up. And with third down, it'll be third down and about a long 6 needed for the first.
So the 0 goes up on the board for timeouts here for Malakoff.
Brad Davis so close to him, talked about the coaching connection. His father, the legendary Bobby Davis, what a great job Coach Davis did for so many years. Friendship High School out on the South Plains, and also a big leading voice in the Texas High School Coaches Association as well. Coaching family there. And Grandview close to it now. Malakoff's lone remaining hope is to get a stop here, of course barring the unthinkable for Grandview, a turnover, but get a stop here and force Grandview to do something, but the clock would be well under a minute by the time that fourth down snap occurs, if there's no first down picked up. Well, we thought we'd have a very good football game, and we've been treated to that. Third down. Yinch up the middle, short of the first down by a couple. It's down around the 10. Now the clock is moving, ticking down, and the play clock is moving. It's going to be right at about 25 seconds or so before Grandview would have to snap the football. And we may see the Zebras run it all the way down and use a timeout.
Exactly. That's about what I was about to say. That would be the thing that I would do just to manage that, so that you're not trying to get that snap count just right and win a second, lose a second. Because you still have an opportunity to put this game on ice with just a couple of yards with your offense if you want to move that ball across. And
there's the timeout taken with 29 seconds to play in the ball game. Grandview fans can feel it. They're just that close. There is a fourth down snap to come, however, so if they pick up 2 yards, obviously it puts the football game away. If they don't, Malakoff would have a final prayer. They'd have, who knows,
20-ish seconds?
Yeah, maybe something like that with no timeouts and trying to go around 90 yards, but at least they'd have a hope and a prayer, but they have to have the stop first. So,
well, they've gone to this power formation several times today, and I wouldn't accept them to do anything else. Keep that ball in the hands of number 3, your quarterback. He's handled the ball pretty well today. Had that misfire early in the ball game, and he has responded after that. That interception return for a touchdown early in the ball game, but I think Dane Yench has done a nice job leading this football team, and he's run and played really hard.
4th down and 2. Movement, and that's going to move Grandview back 5 yards on a false start.
Prior to snap. False start. Number 18 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, he's moving. Watch him move there, the fullback, and he's gonna say, hey, they're talking over there. And a lot of finger pointing by the Malakoff. Now, this is pretty much a pretty good situation here for Malakoff, because now it's a much easier opportunity for them to stop Grandview on this first down attempt here, bringing with 4th down.
As a result, the Zebras use a timeout, and in fact use their final timeout here with 28 seconds to go in the ball game. I think Brad Davis doesn't want to attempt a field goal here, which if they were to hit it would ice it, but I think he would. And they've asked that the clock be moved back to 29 seconds. So 29 it is, with this 4th down coming up. So it's going to be 4th down and 7.
So we asked Coach what he thought about his field goal opportunity, whether he'd want to do that. And this would, that you said, Craig, that would ice the game. But a field goal at the high school level is probably a little more risky situation that you may not want to have, because it could easily be blocked and returned, and something critical like that could happen. So 4th down and 7 for that first down here for Grandview.
Yench with one more look to the sideline now on 4th down. Look to jump pass over the middle, touchdown. Demetrius Crownover. And how about that play call coming out of the timeout on 4th down and 7?
Well, it's a play. They've run this formation many times tonight. It's that power eye look. Now they've got the big tight end, meaty Crownover, the big 6'7" tight end. That's his first touchdown reception on the season.
And it will be the one that will seal the state championship for Grandview. There was flags flying and movement there prior to the point after try.
False start. Number 67 of the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. We'll play the try.
Yeah, he had 6 receptions previously on the season, Craig, and that being his first touchdown came at a very, very opportune time, and a huge play that time for Grandview.
How memorable for the sophomore. Quarterback and receiver. Extra point kick is good. There's another flag down. And I believe the point after will stand. It's a 14-point lead for Grandview, and 23 seconds away from the school's first ever state championship.
Well, they've played their hearts out, and they've pulled together. They've answered the bell here, because Malakoff didn't go away.
The result of the play, the try was good. After the play, we have offsetting fouls for a personal foul after the play. Number 65 of the kicking team, number 68 of the receiving team. They'd offset.
So the point after is good.
Oh, he's just done a nice job, and then just pop pass here with that tight end coming over. They're expecting them to run the football to keep that clock running, but good call that time. Offensively, with Yates throwing it to his big tight end, and good things happen there.
It's going to be a memorable ride back down I-35W tonight for the Grandview Zebras and Coach Brad Davis.
That's his dad there. We talked about him being a coach's son, and his dad, Eric, the linebacker coach, Coach Yench. Nothing better than that.
Little squibber on the kickoff. Bounces on the ball, pop loose. Malakoff will have it with 21 seconds to go in the game. Well, as disappointing as the ending will be for Malakoff, the ride has been something special for the Tigers to advance all the way to this state championship game and have it as a 21-21 ball game in the final quarter of the final game of the season.
Yeah, Jamie Driscoll's done a nice job with that Malakoff football team and should be given a lot of credit. Well, they fought through some battles, and they've done a great job of beating some very, very quality teams on the road to get here. It's not an easy thing to do. We showed you the numbers on how difficult it is to get to this championship game and playing in it and winning it.
Catch made, but the clock continues to move, and perhaps one final snap.
I'm not sure they're going to get this snap off. They're not really moving fast enough to do so, and whether they do or not,
and that's it. The Grandview Zebras have won the school's first ever state football championship. The Zebras, #1 in Class 3A Division I.
Well, we knew we'd have a first-time state champion in school history, and that goes to the Grandview Zebras tonight. Hard-fought ball game, and offensively, defensively, they answered the bell. They got behind early with that quick interception, return for a touchdown that they threw in, and Malakoff put points on the board, but Grandview came back and showed that they're a quality football team, and this young man, this quarterback, played his heart out. Just a sophomore. He's got a lot of football ahead of him. He's going to have a great opportunity to build a great legacy at that program.
Can't say enough about what Jamie Driscoll's done with Malakoff and getting this Tiger program to the state championship round. Everything this program had to overcome, tragedy, injury, adversity, and they were able to rise above all of that to reach the final round, and again, to be tied in the final quarter of the last game of the year. It doesn't work out in the end, but in time they're going to remember what a historic season this was for Malakoff in reaching the school's first ever state championship.